Did you ever think you would make it? I feel I'm so close I could take sweet victory. I know this life meant for me.
Adam, what's your point? The future looks bright.
My handshake is better than anything I ever saw. It's right here.
You are a one-of-one?
My son's right about
I don't think I've ever said this before.
I bought Clarks, and somebody's like, why would you wear old man's shoes?
Oh, yeah,
you don't wear Clarks.
they're not
You're
attractive.
young. I'm like, wait a minute, I'll never
Yeah,
buy
they used
this
to make
again.
something called the Wallaby.
Okay,
Clark's
folks,
Wallabies.
we have a lot of things going on here. People are fighting out here. Mike, are you good? You
Mike,
sound
are you
like
all
you're
right?
about to fall.
Mike is beating somebody up.
You okay? All right,
Okay.
sounds good.
Very aggressive.
Lots of things going on, and we have a very interesting guest with us here. I don't know how you know what. Let me give you some facts about this guy. Number one, he wears J's in the chamber.
Nice.
And I'm talking like when he goes to the White House, you know, they go to the chamber, all these congressmen are together. He wears J's, and they say nothing to him because they're required to wear closed-toe shoes, so that's considered closed-toe, and he likes to follow guidelines. But there's a few other things about him that we need to know about. There's rumors he may or may not like Michael Rappaport. I don't know what's going on over there. May like, may not like. We're trying to figure this part out. Then the other part that we like about this guy is back in the days during COVID, he was one of 11 Democrats who voted to end what was it? The COVID,
National
emergency.
National emergency. He was one of 11. Not popular.
Love it.
If you're on that side. So
Popular
California
with us.
Democrats don't like this guy. Some of them probably like him. I don't know. I'm just saying it's a different Democrat in Florida than it is in California. I got a bunch of other things I can say about him. But voted for Lieberman, if I'm not mistaken. I got a bunch of other things here. Anyways, it's great to have you on the podcast.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate
Yes.
it.
Great to have you on the podcast. Adam's got a lot of good things to say about you.
I wrote him.
We
I
had to
wrote all
get a
that
briefing from Adam. Adam said he's a good guy. He's this, he's that. So if you need an agent, if
We
you
met
ever
at the
leave-
White House
Yeah.
a month ago.
We did.
Had a good conversation, and I said, you should come on the podcast. He said, let's do it, and here we
Well,
are.
something
Respect.
tells me you guys get along because Moskowitz, Sosnick, like there's something going on there.
I'm not understanding what you're saying
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
Pat.
He's saying at some point our fate is the same.
That's
Yeah,
true.
exactly.
That's true.
But-
But I'm betting on Jesus right now.
There's apparently
That's
something
what
going
Vinny
out
said.
there.
He said you were both
Yeah.
Irish. I
All right.
understand.
Okay, so story-wise, what's going on? A lot of weird things going on. Folks, if you had money in AI or Bitcoin or XRP or anything, since October, when crypto hit its highest, $2 trillion of wealth has been wiped out, okay? Just yesterday, $600 billion was wiped out in the stock market in equities. We're not talking crypto. I think $700 billion was wiped out this week from crypto. Bitcoin is down to 60,000. A lot of people are panicking. We'll talk about that. I'm sure there's some thoughts on what's going on there. Amazon stock falls 10% on $200 billion spending forecast. Earning missed, all the layoffs. That's a concern. A lot of people are talking about the layoffs. Clintons come out. That thing's a back and forth on Twitter with Hillary specifically, not necessarily Bill. Rob, if I'm not mistaken, it's more Hillary than it is Bill, asking Comer, they want the hearing to be public. Comer wants to do it private. She wants it to be public. I don't know if this is posturing. I don't know what's going on. At the same time, yesterday, the president was complimentary about Bill Clinton. He says, I don't like how they go after Bill sometimes. You know, they kind of give him a hard time too much. He is so interesting with the things that he does. We'll cover that as well. What is SAVE Act? SAVE Act. CNN polling finds strong voter ID support among Black Americans and other groups. We'll cover that as well. And a few other stories that we got here. Trump administration halts small business loans to foreign nationals, requiring full American ownership. Chinese-linked biolab discovered in Las Vegas home sparked federal investigation with SWAT response. Then you got Karen Bass. She was not happy. Secretly altered Palisades fire analysis to downplay LA's failure. Now, of course, that would never happen in LA. This is allegations, allegedly, who knows. We'll address that. J.D. Vance, somehow, some way, is choosing to lead California's anti-fraud task force. I wonder why they signed him to go and do this to California. Maybe, I don't know what this is. Maybe it's like a 2028 matchup prediction. Although, you know, people are downplaying Marco Rubio. Marco Rubio's coming up. Let me tell you, Marco Rubio's kind of making a name for himself. The other day when we're in D.C. talking to people, it's interesting who was saying they're more Rubio than JD, and maybe JD's trying to say, hey, man, I got some power here as well. And JD's come down a little bit. Rubio's come up a lot. So we'll see. We'll see what's going to happen. This is Kalshi, next U.S. presidential election winner. And we're talking $10 million of predictions that's been placed on Kalshi on that. So we'll see. Maybe JD's trying to get back in the mix. Trump says Iran's Ayatollah should be very worried. I don't know if you guys saw the tweet yesterday. Yeah. I'm sure you got some thoughts on Iran as well. We'll come to you. They said yesterday, any U.S. citizens that are visiting Iran, get out. Get out. You know, it's not good weather. Apparently, there's going to be bad weather coming in, like a bad storm is coming in, allegedly, and we'll see what that storm means. White House has confirmed that Dodgers will attend World Series ceremony. Good for them for attending. Apparently, the Japanese get along with the president because half that team is Japanese at this point, I'm sure. It seems like Dodgers want to sign anybody and everybody from Japan. You guys have a monopoly. There's a lot of words I can use with Dodger fans out there, Tom. I don't appreciate it. But for now, I'll be settled because cameras are on.
2027 already? They're going to be at the White House?
Yeah.
No. This is for last year's.
All right,
Tom is a
Mr.
Dodgers
Cocky.
fan.
Let's
You
see if
gotta
you
keep
guys
BD
can
as
get the three-peat.
Minority owner of the Yankees. There's a little
Trump slams
challenge
Caitlin
right
Collins for not smiling enough, and you know, Vinny has some reasons why he thinks she's not smiling enough. I don't know what's going on there. Bernie Sanders spent over $550,000 in 2025 campaign funds on private jets. I don't know why socialists are upset at that. I mean, what's wrong with that? Like, what's wrong with traveling private? Bernie's trying to get somewhere faster.
He's famous,
and he's made a lot of money, and it's like efficiency, right?
I
was
Well,
flying
if you're going to fight the oligarchy who flies private, you got to meet them where they're at.
1,000.
That's all I'm saying.
Talking about, Jared.
Okay, that's all I'm saying.
All right, so that's where it is.
well played.
Musk says a SAVE Act requiring ID to vote must be done or democracy is dead. Melinda Gates is not happy. Some stuff happened. Someone was trying to put something in her drink, and that someone was apparently her ex-husband, which is your husband shouldn't put something in the drink, so she's upset. She was in an interview. Bill Gates has some regrets about his relationship with Epstein. And then, I have 50 stories on Epstein. I don't even know where. We'll go Epstein, and then we'll see what direction we'll go. Keir Starmer, there's a Kalshi today that just popped up that they're talking about when he's going to be stepping out or not. I don't know if you guys saw this one. Ooh. So is he stepping out? It's pretty nasty because
That's not good.
connection. Yeah, it's not good. So we'll see what happened there. ICE updates Trump oversees lowest level of illegal immigration at the border in over 50 years. But he does not believe that his team is doing a good job at public relations. Maybe he's right. And then we got a few other stories here. Hopefully we'll get to it. WaPo, a lot of people are unhappy with this guy named Jeff. They're not happy with him. They're just not, because he fired not just 300 employees. He fired 300 journalists, not editors, not designers, not copywriters, not any of that stuff. Journalists. It's like saying firing 300 engineers and your job is coding. They fired 300 journalists. It's a mess over there at WaPo. Who knows? Maybe it's going to be on sale and somebody's going to be able to pick it up. And then a reporter confronts Billie Eilish at her house, saying, can you please move? You're on stolen land. And she refused. I don't know why she refused to move. God. And it was like a big deal.
I'm still trying to get all my stuff back from Poland and Germany.
You are?
The houses and the paintings that were taken.
Yeah, it's weird.
Maybe one of these days.
One of these days.
Stolen land happens.
Stolen land
We're going to follow up with you, Jared. Keep your hopes high. Something could happen there. All right. Having said that, let's get right into it. Jared, take a minute, share with the audience what your background is and what you do.
So I'm from Broward County, born and raised. Family was from Brooklyn, came down here. My grandparents retired here. I went to Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School, where the horrible shooting was at. I got elected really young. I got elected to the Parkland City Commission when I was 25. I was the youngest elected official in the state at the time. And, the rest is really history. Wound up in the state house. I was there during the shooting. And then this guy, Ron DeSantis, won for governor. I didn't vote for him, didn't support him, supported the other guy. But they came to me and asked me to become the director of emergency management for the state of Florida, because that was my background in the private sector. I was doing emergency management. And so, I didn't want to take the job because I was like, how am I going to go work for a guy I fundamentally disagree with? But then I talked to those parents that, buried their kids. Because government, if you look at what happened in Parkland, government failed those parents. The FBI had hits on the kid. The school board did, the sheriff's office. And so I took my political hat off and I went to go work for Ron DeSantis for 2.5 years. I led the entire COVID response for the state of Florida, when I think we got COVID right more than the other 49 states. And then he appointed me to the Broward County Commission. I'm a twice appointed Ron DeSantis Democrat, as my socialist opponent likes to point out. And then after that, I ran for Congress. And so, that's kind of the history. My wife is from here. My kids. We're all here. We love Florida.
Respect. And by the way, did you get approached by the administration to run FEMA? Was there some talks with you and FEMA?
Yeah, I mean, look, I met with the folks. I'm not going to go into the details, but I met with the folks at the highest level on whether they would be interested and I would be interested, because I do think the president was right that FEMA needed reform, and I was interested in reforming it. But unfortunately, that's not the direction that Noam has gone with FEMA. She's basically just dismantled it.
Yeah. Okay. So this is a little bit of background with our friend here, Jared. With that being said, let's get right into it. Rob, what is a top story the audience wants to talk about?
The Epstein files.
What?
Okay.
I hadn't heard about that. What is that?
Yeah.
What is that?
Okay. What direction do we want to go with this? Let's go through here. Let's start off with the first one here. So Hillary Clinton and James Comer are going back and forth. And this is the tweet from 23 hours ago that got 14 million views. For 6 months, we engaged Republicans on the Oversight Committee in good faith, and we told them what we know under oath. They ignored all of it. They moved the goalposts and turned accountability into an exercise on distraction. So let's stop the games. If you want this fight, James Comer, let's have it in public. You love to talk about transparency. There's nothing more transparent than a public hearing, cameras on. We will be there. Straight up, Hillary Clinton. President Trump comes back and says he doesn't like the fact that it bothers me. Rob, I think you got a clip on this one. If you want to play it, go for it.
But it bothers me that somebody's going after Bill Clinton. See, I like Bill Clinton. I still like Bill Clinton.
What do you like about him?
I liked his behavior toward me. I thought he got me. He understood me.
Okay, so, and by the way, I think this is the interview they're doing for halftime Super Bowl, which he was actually impressed. He liked the interview, apparently, that they went back and forth. So, Jared, what do you think's going on over here with James Comer, Hillary Clinton, and the president?
Well, first of all, I love the president's answer, right? What do you like about Bill Clinton? Well, I like that he likes me. We knew that was the first answer.
Yeah.
And then he went deep with it. He was like, I feel like Bill Clinton really gets me.
Yeah.
And I'm like, they get deep. He then later on in that interview, he says that Bill Clinton was telling everyone you don't want to run against Trump. So Bill Clinton's also his campaign advisor, apparently. Look, I think what's going on with this, I have a lot of history with Comer. I used to be on the Oversight Committee during the Biden impeachment. Remember that? They were going to impeach Joe Biden, which they never did because Comer never found any evidence. He called me a Smurf once. So
you guys have history, you and Comer.
Yeah. I mean, I've been short for 45 years, but this guy thought he's going to point it out and somehow that's going to get under my skin.
How tall is he? Tall? Is he a 6'5"?
He's tall. I mean, and he's just a terrible chairman of oversight. He once said to me, I don't know if you know this, Jared, but I'm like the largest landowner in my county. And I was like, Mr. Chairman, we don't value people anymore and how much land they own. That's like an old metric. That we used to do. But
where is he out of? Kentucky?
He's out of Kentucky.
Okay.
His own colleagues don't have a lot of respect for him because of the failed impeachment. Just really embarrassed himself. But he's still the chairman. I'm told he's a fantastic farmer, so I'm happy for him. Value our farmers, love our farmers. But I'll tell you this: I think he's overstepped what's going on.
Tell me why.
And I think that's why the president's saying what he's saying. This is a really bad precedent for the Republicans. So you're now going to bring in a former president. Congress is going to bring in a former president in front of committee. You know whose antenna went up with that right away. Trump's. Trump's antenna went up with that. Not just Trump's, but maybe Trump's kids, maybe Trump's extended family, okay? Because I can tell you there are Democrats that are salivating at what Comer just did here. And this will be the Comer precedent. This will be the Comer legacy. And so when Jared Kushner or Eric or Junior or their kids are, sitting in Congress in depositions, they can blame James Comer for creating this legacy. And there are Democrats. It's not me, because I don't like this part. I think the weaponization of this is not what America is about, where we bring in our political opponents, and we try to use the official process We're seeing it more and more, and this is what happens in Congress. It's like high school. One side escalates, and it's just more escalatory behavior.
Do you think Comer and the president are speaking, and the president's saying to back off a little bit, or no?
I don't think they're speaking directly, but I view the president's comments that he doesn't like what's happening to Bill Clinton. Okay, it's a shame, is what he said. I think that's a message to the people in Congress. Like, you do this, you understand. They're going to, if Democrats take the House in November, there are very progressive chairmen that can't wait to use this precedent on the administration.
Now, what if the other side says, what are you talking about, Jared? They put 91 felonies on the guy. They got him a mugshot. What could be worse than what they did to Trump? This is like 1/1000th of what they did to him.
Trump actually says that in the interview. He goes on in that interview and he says, they did it to me. They tried to do it to me. And the funny, usually, Trump, who's, taking some retribution on some of those folks that did that, he doesn't have that towards the Clintons. He says Hillary's very capable in that interview. So he doesn't have it towards the Clintons.
Why do you think?
I think they've known each other a long time. Remember, they're both from New York, and I think Trump.
Mutual respect.
Mutual respect. But I think Trump's also a guy that, like, if he likes you, he likes you. And I think he likes Bill Clinton. But I think his team recognizes they may lose the House. And there's a lot out there, right? There's the Qatari plane. There's the UAE investment. There's all the crypto stuff. There's a lot there. And there's all the Epstein stuff. I mean, Trump's name, whether, there's evidence or not evidence, Trump's name appears more times in the Epstein files than Harry Potter's name appears in the 7 books about Harry Potter. Okay. And so, if this is where they want to go, this will come back to them in 11 months when
Tom,
Hakeem
what do you
Jeffries
think?
is the speaker.
Well, discovery is a two-edged sword. And this is why big lawsuits with large corporations, usually they don't want to get to trial. They want to get to some sort of a settlement because discovery can dig up other things and you go down other rabbit holes. I think there's something going on behind the curtain here, and for Hillary to say, cameras on, we want to be there. The question is, what does Hillary want to say for those cameras? What does she want to bring up for those cameras? And everybody, the one truth of the Epstein files, there's one simple truth, is that powerful people around the world have been trying to get their proxies and people in there to keep these from coming out. Now we see why. All the way from the royals in Britain to the top of prominent law firms in the United States, people resigning. And I don't think anybody, the timing is, Pat, don't you think timing is a little coincidental here? The Epstein files come out, the next drop, and suddenly the Clintons go from silent, kind of we'll bring them up in contempt, James Comer saying. We'll bring them up in contempt. Clinton silent, speaking through proxy, saying very little. The files come out, and she's like, okay, you want a hearing? Let's have a hearing. Get the cameras on.
What are you saying, though, Tom? What are you saying?
I think she's sending a warning to people, says, I could say things. We know things. We know things. Do you want to go down this?
I think there's a piece of that. Because, by the way, Hillary is not in the files. There's no pictures with Hillary, right? Hillary is not a part of this. There are pictures with Bill. We've all seen them, right? So the Republicans, including Hillary in this, was an overreach. It had nothing to do with the Epstein subpoena. It was like, oh, you know what? Let's just try to do Hillary too, And so Hillary's like, you want to bring me in? No problem. I'll have that game. And what she wants is she wants to show that she'll come publicly. Hunter Biden did this too when they wanted to subpoena Hunter. He showed up to a hearing, and Republicans wouldn't let him talk in the hearing. Hillary wants the American people to see with the cameras. What Comer's been doing is he likes to do these depositions in a basement. And then he comes out mid-deposition to the camera and says, here's what's going on in the room, right? So he can set the stage. This is an old tactic. Both sides have used this when we do these depos. But in a public hearing, you don't have that. You also have, 20 Republicans, 20 Democrats. They're all asking questions. It's a very different, let me say, show than a deposition in a room that you then can go out to the American people and say, here's what happened in there.
Jared, it's 2020 no matter who's a majority at the time? 20 Republican, 20 Democrat?
The Republicans have more members.
Because whoever has more seats gets more.
Seats. So 25.
I got it.
25 to 20.
Vinny, where are you at with this?
Tom, say what you're saying.
Just in the modern news world, private hearings like that is a dirty business, whether you're Republican or Democrat, because intentional leaks come out and spin what's really being said, and the witnesses are bound not to speak.
That's right.
So you have to go to your private deposition.
What a dirty move on both sides.
It is. It's dirty on both sides.
Can you choose to say, I don't want to do it private, I want to do public, or they force you to do whatever they want to do?
That's what's happening. So for the last 6 months, they have been negotiating on just the format. That's the disagreement here.
They negotiating is who? Clintons?
The
and them?
Clintons with Comer, the lawyers have been negotiating a format, right? So, like, let me give you an example, because I've been in these negotiations before. So the Clintons will say, well, the subpoena's on Epstein. We want it, so the questions can only be on Epstein.
No whitewater, no history.
Correct. And Comer will say, no limitations on topics. Well, the Clintons say, well, we're not going to agree to that, okay, because the subpoena's on Epstein. We're not going to talk about everything. And then they'll say, okay, you're going to get 3 hours with Bill Clinton, you're going to get 3 hours with Hillary. And Comer will say, no, I want unlimited time with both of them. Well, the Clintons are not going to agree to that either, right? And so this has been going on for 6 months. They've not been able to agree on how this will work. By the way, this happens in every time they bring in a high-level witness, right? They subpoena someone. These are the negotiations that go on. And so I think Comer has moved the goalposts several times. Comer sent a demand letter to the Clintons. Okay, they originally didn't agree with everything, and then after this went back and forth, they eventually, after Comer said, well, then I'll hold you in contempt, then the Clintons came out and said, okay, we will agree to every request in your letter.
Except.
And then Comer said, well, I have some additional requests now. And then
is this factual? What
it's
you're
all
saying?
factual. It's all factual.
But who has the leverage to make it private or public?
Comer does. Comer does.
Comer can make it private or public. The other side has to listen to
Correct.
it. Okay,
Totally up to
I
Comer.
got it. Vinny, go ahead.
Well, there's so much to unpack, and I think going to the root of it, number one, all these people, all these powerful people, for the fact that they're saying Hillary has that type of attitude and that type of gall, that means everybody has some dirt on them at some point, Jared. You mentioned Trump. I have a feeling everybody at some point did something wrong. And in regard to these people, these powerful people, especially Bill Gates, emailing with your actual email. Bill Gates, how ignorant, number one, but what I think people are failing to understand or grasp, Jared, is the victims. All these millions and millions of files, the young girls or the young boys, we're finding out all the tunnels. I saw a video of a tunnel underneath Epstein Island that went to the water. There's a trap door that just went down to the ocean. Like it's freaking shark food. People aren't understanding that. The saddest part, that's it right there, Pat. That was in the house, from the back of the house. You just dumped the freaking body in there. Or what? Is somebody going to go skinny dipping in that? Does that look like a skinny dipping thing? I think it comes down to the kids. And I mean, now, and I mentioned this earlier, remember, and I know they want to call this the C word, back when Pizzagate, if you look at the tunnels and the underage kids and the pedophilia and all these people connected, it doesn't seem that far-fetched right now. So I feel like everybody has some type of dirt on them. Shame on every single one of them. God have mercy on their souls, because they're going to have to pay when it comes to these children, because nobody's talking about that.
Yeah, but
I saw photos of him eating, biting a kid's butt, Pat, and I AI checked it 3 times. Epstein was around little children in pools, chasing little girls. And where are these people?
No,
where are these kids, Jared? You know what I mean?
No. First of all, this is why Congress took that vote and forced this stuff to come out.
Good.
Okay, like we were
Rob, you can remove that,
We
Rob.
were trying to force this stuff to come out because the victims do need justice.
100%.
There should be justice for the victims. Epstein was the worst of the worst of the worst, and clearly, right, all of these people are in the files. Now, just because you're in the file doesn't mean you're
100%.
guilty.
Yes.
Okay, but clearly some of these people were there. This idea that only Epstein did this and no one else, 0 people. Right?
Yeah.
Else participated. No one believes that.
And Jared, how? So, and especially, great point, Jared. Once he was arrested for sleeping with underage girls and prostitution and Lloyd, whatever the case was, they're still hanging out with him. If, for instance, if God forbid Tom did something and had that type of conviction, I'm going to pray for him, but I will never hang out with him. I will never associate with him. I'm never going to his house. He's out of my life, Jared.
I feel like you feel that way already.
I think that's very hurtful.
No, but Jared, you know what I mean? Like, that's the point. Is like these people kept these relationships. They kept going with him. They knew who he was. And Jared, it seems like he was protected. And Florida, so you were here when, he got in trouble and all that stuff.
Yeah,
and then,
I was here when Pam Bondi was the Attorney General here.
Afterwards, yeah,
right?
yeah.
And he got the sweetheart deal.
How does that,
okay?
Jared, how does that happen, my brother?
These are the questions that the American people on the internet have been
By
asking.
the way, let me tell you this, what's so impressive. Rob, can you go to the poll you ran? Look at our audience. Our audience generally, lean more conservative, right? He runs a poll and a poll says, do you want this hearing to be public or private? Look what the
what'd they
audience
say?
voted. Zoom in. 4,200 voted. 91% wanted to be
So they're
public.
voting on the side of Hillary Clinton.
They're voting on the side of, hey, we don't want to have anything kept from us.
They want
we
the
want to
truth.
hear what's going to be
They
said.
want to hear it.
That's
They
what I
wanna
want to hear.
I'm with the audience.
The
on
American
this.
people have been. It's Epstein is a It's obviously horrific, but it's a fascinating bridge of the political divide. Like, we don't agree on anything, but the American people agree everything should come out.
91%, Adam. By
Okay,
the way,
can I say
Rob,
something about
can you pull up that one email I just sent you? It's stuff like this that you realize. I just yeah, there you go. Watch this. Look at this. One of the stuff that's in the Epstein files. New Brazilian just arrived. Sexy and cute. 9 years old.
Weird. Yeah.
9 years old.
Legitimate
He emailed
FBI.
somebody.
This is from the
Scumbag.
file Justice Department.
9 years old. Who the hell are you emailing? Who is the other person that got the email? So the stuff that they
Putting
by the way,
that in email?
by the way,
they're idiots, Adam.
Rob,
They're all
is
idiots.
that what did they do to the
By the way,
tunnel?
if the from is Jeffrey Epstein, they would tell us. That
Exactly.
from is from somebody else.
Exactly that.
That from
That's
is
not from Epstein.
That from is from somebody else.
who's the two?
To Epstein.
That's Epstein is the GE vacation. That's his vacation.
Okay. So, they're
So
e-
so
Jeffrey
somebody
Epstein vacation.
else sent it to him.
Yeah.
so who sent
Maybe
them?
his
Bingo,
Wrangler.
Jared.
And those
That's
are
what it is.
pictures.
His Wrangler.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5 JPEGs. Those are pictures.
Yeah.
Wow.
And look at Jeffrey Epstein vacation. This is everybody's vacation. Is going to the island with 9-year-olds. Okay.
It's gross.
I saw a video this morning. Adam, you go because I'm gonna send a
Sure.
video to you, Rob, here in a minute.
So this whole Epstein situation, the number one thing, the signal through all the noise here is people want some accountability. What the hell happened on this island? We know that Jeffrey Epstein was a world-class scumbag. People want to know who else is hanging with this guy. So Hillary, Trump, Clinton, let's get into these names. Number one, Hillary just showed, I'm a gangster, I have nothing to hide. Oh, it's kind of like, oh, you want to fight? Oh, you want me to meet you outside? Cool, let's go. Meet me outside. And now James Comer's like, no, I didn't really want to fight. I just wanted to talk tough. Hillary's basically like, yeah, I'll meet you after school right now. Let's do it in public. Let's do it in public. And he's like, no, I'm a little scared on that. Kind of like when Candace said, anytime, any place, let's go, turning point. And they're like, Tuesday at 3 o'clock. She goes, I'm busy. So that's a little shady right there on his part. Number two, Trump. Watch what he does, not what he says. I don't think Trump cares about the Clintons. He's the guy that said, lock her up, lock her up, lock her up. We didn't actually lock her up. Do you think Trump actually cares about Bill Clinton? He brought 5 women who accused him of sexual misconduct to a debate, and Bill Clinton looked like he saw 5 ghosts. So he does not care about Bill Clinton's feelings
State of the Union
whatsoever.
address.
That's self-preservation, which I think you mentioned. Last point, people want accountability. And lastly, just because your name is in the Epstein file, in an email reference to, doesn't mean that you did anything wrong. Jon Stewart said it the other day, he goes, my name was in the Epstein file. They said we should get someone like Jon Stewart to host an event or something. He goes, excuse me, someone like Jon Stewart? How about just Jon Stewart, buddy? So just because your name's in something doesn't mean you did anything. And you remember what happened with Mike Tyson, Pat? Remember when he took a picture? What was the story?
That.
He took a picture
guy
with a
comes in-
murderer.
Yeah, a guy comes and takes a picture with a murderer who had just killed 8 people or something like that. Next day, they come back to him saying, what's your relationship with this guy? I have no clue.
They just took a
He just took a picture with them. So some of that's going to be happening. But what I'm saying is the part that people want to know is when you cross the line with kids, people change.
Yep.
Everybody's on the same page. It's like when 9/11 happened in New York, nobody cared if you're a Republican or a Democrat. Crossing the line with kids makes everybody part of the same party. There's this video I want to show, Rob, if you can pull it up. This happens in America. Okay, watch this clip. Play it. You can start playing it, and you'll see this person asking people at the airport. Watch this.
You said that you were on vacation, and now you're moving this small child to the airport. I thought you were on vacation. Do you have any comment about children that have gone missing that you've helped to escort across the country? We have footage here that a lot of these children don't know the sponsors that they are going to. What's going on? There's kids in the car here.
And look what happens when the truck leaves.
Excuse me.
The bags are left.
What's going on here?
They're panicking, leaving. You can pause this
There they
video.
go.
Why am I showing this clip? Because you're now they're saying if you think for a second he doesn't have ties to the Mossad, selling intel, and then there was a bunch of stuff with Putin. You said the amount of times that Trump's name is mentioned more than Harry Potter in Harry Potter's 8 books. But you hear how many times Putin is mentioned, how many times, the names with Russia and Mossad. This is happening. People want to know what's going on. I don't think people care where it's coming from. If it's us, let's find out. If it's Mossad, let's find out. People simply want to get to the bottom of it. I mean, it's so bad right now that Bill Gates' ex-wife, Melinda Gates, gets invited on an interview right after she's learning about the fact from the Epstein files that he caught an STD that he was worried about giving her, and Epstein told him allegedly what to take.
What drugs to give her.
What drugs to give her. Play this clip here. Go ahead, Rob.
The emails in the files suggest that Bill Gates had additional affairs and that he tried to get medication to treat a sexually transmitted infection, and that he was going to give you the medicine without you knowing. His representative has said all of this is false. It is not on you to have to respond to the details of that alleged behavior, but I wonder what your dominant emotion is when you read these news articles with these details.
Sad. Just unbelievable sadness. Unbelievable sadness, right? And again, I'm able to take my own sadness and look at those young girls and say, my God, how did that happen to those girls, right? And so for me, it's just sadness for, I left my marriage. I had to leave my marriage. I wanted to leave my marriage. I had to leave I felt I needed to eventually leave the foundation. So it's just sad. That's the truth.
Did Bill respond, Rob?
Bill Gates does respond.
Can we play the?
Does he really?
Yeah, and you know what he's trying to go at? I'll let him play again. I'll give my 2 cents.
Pat, you study human nature.
Yeah.
Tell me, yeah.
Does that, when you look at her like that,
I feel
what do you
bad
think?
for her. I feel sorry.
What
for
do
her.
I
See
think?
what Bill has to say.
Well, I tell you what I think. I think a
Believable
couple
or-
things. I mean, look, it's not even the believable part. It's I think the number one emotion is embarrassed. Is embarrassed because look, guys. I mean, it's well documented when these two got married. Whatever, they were together for 27 years. I think in the prenup or some kind of agreement that they had that she agreed for him to go visit an ex 1 week a year. I don't know if you guys have
something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
So
remember that.
you can document that in a 1997 Time Magazine profile. It was reported that Bill and Melinda Gates, early in their relationship, that he could spend an annual long weekend with his former girlfriend Ann Winblad. And this is not Daily Mail. This is Time Magazine profile in 97. So anybody that agrees to that pre-getting married, you pretty much agree that there's something weird about this relationship you're getting into. Can you imagine if I go to my wife and I say, babe, listen, once a year, I'm hanging out with my ex.
Oh, okay.
If you agree to that, we can get married.
Yeah, by the way, my when I was getting married, my imagination clearly wasn't big enough. I mean,
You got to think bigger, buddy.
I mean, good Lord.
Yeah, you were worrying about
But
the
she
honeymoon.
agreed to
This
it,
guy.
though.
What I'm saying,
She
that's what I'm
agreed to
saying.
it.
So no,
Forward thinking.
But where I'm going to is I actually think Melinda, maybe not the Epstein stuff, Melinda kind of knew this guy's the richest man in the world I'm about to marry. I probably have to agree to certain things that maybe I wouldn't get if I married Mr. Johnson, who's a second-grade teacher making $47,200 a year. This guy makes that a second. It's a very different situation you got. So I think she kind of knew who she was getting into, maybe not the Epstein guy. Here's Bill Gates responding. Go ahead, Rob.
Knew a lot of very rich people, and he was saying he could get them to give money to Global Health. In retrospect, that was a dead end, and I was foolish to spend time with him. I was one of many people who regret ever knowing him.
You've no doubt seen the allegations, including some of them from the last 24 to 48 hours. Are they true?
No, apparently Jeffrey wrote an email to himself.
Draft.
That email was never sent. The email is, false. So I don't know what his thinking was there. It just reminds me, every minute I spent with him, I regret and I, apologize that I did that.
The problem is some of the things that he has sent and some of the information about other people that has come up in those files has been true. Why would he do this and say this about you, do you think?
It's factually true that I was only at dinners. I never went to the island. I never met any women. And so, the more that comes out, the more clear it'll be that although the time was a mistake, it had nothing to do with that kind of behavior.
Do you believe him?
Absolutely not. And again, everything is fact-based in this world, but whatever happened to your gut and your intuition, nothing about what he's saying, I believe, with the amount of stuff that he is. By the way, this is just one. These are 2 emails that I read that he drafted by himself that he was about to send to Bill Gates. To me, that's almost like a diary. You're like, why would he make up something like that if he just didn't send it? It was still on his computer. He went into great detail about it. And just really quick, Pat, if you don't mind, Adam, when you said earlier about Hillary Clinton that you're saying that she's gangster and she's like, hey, we don't have anything to hide. I don't think it's that. I think it's, hey, we're all guilty and we're all going to go down with the ship if you guys open your mouth.
Crap, maybe. If I'm going down, I'm pulling everybody down.
But the one thing, Jed, I want to know your opinion.
Yeah, but she didn't go to the island. I think that's what she's saying.
Absolutely. But the main thing, I think, Bill Clinton had Jeffrey Epstein come to the White House. How many times, Rob? 11? 17? 17 times he came to the White House. Why is a known pedophile coming to the freaking White House to visit with him? And then Mark Middleton, the guy that hooked up the whole thing, hangs himself, shoots himself in the chest, suicide, and then they don't find the gun and it's ruled a suicide. That's a whole different situation. But the fact that Hillary knows if he goes down, everybody's going down. And that's how it is.
What do you think, Jared?
Well, I think the reason Hillary's acting like this, because, again, she has nothing to do with any of this. No one has ever accused Hillary with anything with Jeffrey Epstein. The Republicans threw her in to try to, make it sexier. And so she's like, well, if you're going to include me, then I'm coming. Let's go.
Yeah. So she's going to draw on other things, stories not even related to Epstein?
I think she'll come and embarrass him. Look, again, they held Hillary for 11 hours in a hearing one time.
I saw
remember
it
that?
all.
Without a bathroom break, right? Like Hillary can handle herself.
Is that the Benghazi thing?
Yeah, that was a Benghazi
What difference does it make?
Hillary can handle herself. So I think that's what she's doing here. Watching the Melinda Gates thing, and I've seen it now a couple of times. I mean, when the question comes in, she takes a gulp of air. It looks like she threw up and swallowed it.
Yes.
Okay. Whether that particular email is true or not, she looks into the camera and basically tells us stuff like that is true that she is aware of. It doesn't have to be that particular email.
Yes.
Maybe it is or isn't true, that email, but stuff on that level, she knows in her mind.
Can you do me a favor, Rob? Run a poll and ask this question. Who do you trust more, Bill Clinton or Hillary Clinton? I'm actually curious to know what the audience is going to say. Bill Clinton or Hillary Clinton? Because in ties to Trump, and I'll come to you, this is back in 2015 at CPAC, Trump's being asked about Bill Clinton. I don't know if you remember this clip or not. He went hard on Bill Clinton with Epstein. If you want to play this clip, Rob, go for it.
Bill Clinton. Nice guy. Got a lot of problems coming up, in my opinion, with the famous island with Jeffrey Epstein. A lot of problems.
Epstein, in your remarks about in the Q&A.
Well, I think he's got a problem. I mean,
what do you think the problem will be?
I don't know, but that island was really a cesspool. There's no question about
it. Pause it right there. By the way, if you look at the president, he looks much better than he did here. So he's lost weight. Look at those cheeks.
Yeah.
Good for him, right? Look at that. He looks
only
better
Big
today
Macs.
than he did in 2015. Adam, go ahead.
Well, number one, we have to state the clear fact. Trump was talking about the cesspool island in 2015. Before he was president.
A project manager.
Whoa. So if you need a project manager, there you go. But let's give Trump a little credit. He was calling out Epstein before he even was president, before he was even running for president, when he was just initiating his campaign right after he came down the escalator. So everybody's accusing Trump of doing something wrong. I don't think so. Number two, there's a big difference between someone like President Bill Clinton and Bill Gates. Bill Gates first. What the hell does Bill Gates need from Epstein? He doesn't need money. He doesn't need access. He doesn't need power. You're the richest man in the world, or one of the richest men in the world. What are you going to Epstein for? Tax advice? So in my opinion, you're going to Epstein Island because you want to get away.
Well, he says he never went to Epstein Island.
He said he never went.
Okay, but you're associating with Epstein for what? For access to maybe some fun. Okay, I don't know if you did or didn't go. Clinton is a little bit different. Do you need money? Do you need power? Do you need fundraising? What are your next moves after you're leaving the White House?
You're saying Bill needs Epstein more than Gates needs
There's more
Epstein.
things that someone like Bill Clinton would need from Epstein
So what's your point?
than someone like Bill Gates.
What's your point?
That not all two people are the same. Why are you hanging out with this person? It's like, why are you going to Diddy's house?
One offers girls and fun, the other offers.
Exactly. Why are you going to Diddy's house? You want to get some music? You want to become a new producer for him? Or do you want to go to the baby oil party? There's a big difference. What do you think?
Listen, I think there's a lot in common with a lot of these people. And look, this is part of some of the conspiracy that may turn out to be true, is that he was curating people of power, and it became, it became leverage over these people. I mean, Elon is in the files, right? Like, if you look at who these people are, right, the rich and the powerful, how was Epstein able to curate all of those people, right? I mean, these are not insignificant folks, right? And it goes beyond even the big names. Then there's another second level of gigantic people, right? Very successful, very wealthy people around the world. And so, the people think that these were bribery things that were going on. You get a little leverage on these folks, right? And so, that's part of what people want to find out. On Trump, I will tell you this. Trump is brilliant at a lot of things. One of the things he's brilliant of is he takes something that he knows he's got an issue and he puts it on other people. Yeah. He takes his weakness, he takes his vulnerability, and he puts it on other people. I think Trump was getting ahead of the Epstein thing, knowing, hey, I'm all over that thing too.
10 years prior. I think the other side is much better at it than that. I think in that side, for him to do that, you know how many times CNN has to apologize and say it's right, they did kick him off. He did kick out Epstein. Abby had to do it. Then I think a week ago, a guy on CNN came out and said a proven human trafficker, whatever, and he said it twice. He had Scott Jennings called him out. He had to come out and apologize. He was just on Piers Morgan yesterday, found 50 different ways to apologize because he knows if the president wanted to assume he can. If you're not afraid, of what you've done, you'll sue. Yeah. And then you have to go through discovery. So if the guy is playing that much, I'm not telling you he hasn't done it in his career. I think that's actually a playbook from the other side that happens a lot. He just came out. Can you imagine, like, what are you doing bringing the girls out during the debate with Hillary Clinton? If you do that, you have to know the next day they could bring 50 girls on you. Who was E. Jean Carroll? This morning I was watching E. Jean Carroll's interview with Anderson Cooper, and he's like, so what is rape to you? Rape is not physical. Fantasy. It's a fantasy.
Crazy.
And he's like, we're going to go to a break. You're Anderson, you're fascinating. You're fascinating, right? All these dumb stories that they try to put on him. So I think that game, I believe Hillary's much better at it than Trump. And look at this here. Look at the score right here. People trust Bill Clinton.
Wow.
They do not trust Hillary Clinton.
Willie.
3,500 people. Yeah, they do not trust.
Regarding Epstein or overall?
Well, that's what they're saying. The audio. I mean, what's the topic we're talking about? By the way, just to say one thing here to everybody that's watching this, I've been in the insurance business for 20-some years, okay? Love the industry, life-changing. If you're watching this and you want to insure yourself, do yourself a favor and go buy the shirt allegedly. Because when you're going through moments like this, never has there been a more important time to walk around making sure everybody knows you lean on the word allegedly, because that's the biggest insurance policy you can have nowadays, as long as you use the word allegedly. So if you want to protect yourself, go to vtmerch.com, get yourself an allegedly shirt or a hat, walk around at work with your family, with your friends, and just say, allegedly, this is what I heard. You will be protected, just like many others do, wearing the allegedly gear. And it is one of the greatest conversation starters. No matter where you're at, people look at you, they smile, and it goes into
I'm curious,
a conversation.
in a court of law, in a court of law, Jared, you would know this. If you're wearing that shirt and you're talking just out of your butt and you're saying crazy stuff, in court, you just be like,
allegedly,
hey,
I heard.
I didn't say it out loud, but the shirt is saying it.
Some people are saying. Some people
Can I
are
ask you
saying.
a follow-up question?
go
Because
for it.
I feel like you're a good person to answer this. Let's be completely logical and rational right now. Everyone wants to go, oh, he's an Epstein pedophile. Forget about that. Forget about the pedophilia. Forget about the girls. Let's just go completely logical and pragmatic. What do all these rich, famous, powerful people want or need from Epstein? Forget about the girls. Forget about the partying. Let's go down the rabbit hole. Congressman, I'd love to get your... What do they need from this guy? Why is everyone trying to get involved with him? Because just as much as he's approaching them, hey, can I come? What's going on? So what do you think is actually happening going on?
I'll let Jared answer.
I mean, I think that's nobody knows, right? Because like, if we say, well, we all know what they wanted, that means they're all guilty. That means they're all guilty, right? Which I don't think we can say that, right? I don't think that's fair to say like they're all guilty. But Nobody knows. Now, look, in the realm of politics and business, people are always raising money. You got access to funds. You got access to this guy. It becomes a networking thing. But by the way, maybe someone should tell us. Maybe one of these people who are in there, right, who says, you know, I never went to the island. I wasn't interested in girls. Then why were you talking to him? Yeah. Was he connecting you to somebody else? Was it a business deal? Yeah, I mean, Elon's in there. That looks like that may have been, you know, some sort of dollars business deal. Yeah. Tell us, Elon, why were you talking to Epstein? What was that about? Yeah. Right. If it wasn't about the girls.
You made a great point.
Yeah, I think it's look, Trump's interview with Lex Friedman, when he says, how come more friends don't run for office? Well, most people don't know how to, more billionaires don't run for office. He says, you can make all the money. He says, there's a lot of billionaires that people don't know around the world. There's a lot of billionaires that they walk past you and you just thought they were a regular person. They have $2.8 billion in the bank. No one knows. This is what Vinny deals with every day.
I hate it. It's like tough to be Vinny.
There are a lot of billionaires that are not cool. They just have money. Truly.
Is he still talking about you?
Right? They're not famous. They want fame. Now flip it. There are a lot of famous broke people out there that want money. It's like, listen, man, I got 6.8 billion followers, but dude, I got 28 grand in a bank. I'm broke. Everything I make, I spend. I have to live this lavish lifestyle with the Aventador and the Patek and the Hublot and the RM and all this stuff to show. But dude, I'm broke. So what can you help me, right? Yeah. And then you have guys that stuff that they do in their private lives outside of their marriage that, you know, they don't want somebody else to know. You want someone to allow you to have that access. That's some of these guys with who's a billionaire guy that paid him $172 million. And
Leon Black, I believe.
Leon Black, allegedly. Again, shout out to
usage
allegedly.
of that word, yeah, for
right?
sure.
107. So that is more, hey, what do I do with this situation, right? To everybody, it's different. But what does work, and it's a proven business model since day one, blackmail is a incredible business model, which, by the way, he knows. Who do you think are Epstein's number one customers? In my opinion, Epstein's number one customers are governments, are intel agencies, all of those guys. And by the way, a part of it, like where I'm at, like, and I want to move to the next story, which is Keir Starmer, and then we can go into exiting this Epstein stuff because there's a lot of stuff going on there. This is what I tell you, Vinny. You know, with kids, say you got 4 kids, and all of them screwed up, but they'll tell each other, listen, we're not going to tell dad, okay? We're not going to tell who did that. In my old office, Mario will remember this. A guy named Leo will remember this. Robert Tassi will remember this. One day, I'm in my office. I come out, and a massive fight breaks out in the office. Something happens. And everybody I come outside, they see I'm outside. I'm looking at them. So what happened? Nothing. I said, what was that sound? Nothing. What sound? So what do you mean, what sound? What was that sound? We don't know what you're talking about. Vinny, they're looking at me as if like
you're dumb.
Nothing happened.
Yeah.
Then one time there's an event in 2007 in Orlando. We go to Orlando. That night, these guys party till 5 o'clock in the morning. The next day, the meeting starts at 8 a.m. They all come in. And Vinny, they're looking at each other as if, like, I'm looking at him. Why is this guy yawning 10 minutes into the meeting? Yeah. He can't stay up. And when Mario would have... If you started the meeting talking about finance and economy and market, Mario's knocked out within 30 seconds. Yeah. He just wants to talk about human nature. And I said, guys, what'd you guys do last night? No, nothing. We went to sleep early. We had a meeting. We went to sleep early. They never wanted to leak anything. Till today, I still don't fully know exactly what happened. All I've heard is secondhand information. But if one of them leaks... Then it's like, well, you brought the beer. Well, you brought this. Well, you brought that. Well, you told us. You brought the driver. You took us to the club. So the point is, the moment one goes,
it's all done.
Everyone's gonna go. And it, you know, you ever watch Domino when the first one goes and then boom, 60 next dominoes fall, and you see those big ones that happen. If one fully comes out openly, I'm guilty. But let me tell you what I'm about to do.
Yeah.
Hey. Boom, you know, boom, like almost the scent of a woman. What is it? The 3 boys' names?
Hey, out there. You two call everybody out in the crowd.
Even Tupac coming out there calling everybody out. Then he got killed, right after that. So I think that hasn't happened yet.
We talking about Hit 'Em Up? We talking about the song Hit 'Em Up? I love that word.
But I think that's where we are. I think if one guy comes out the floodgates going to open
I think
up.
you're 1,000,000% right. Let me give you a little maybe pushback. If nobody's flipped yet, why would they flip? It's almost like we've been holding out for 10 years, 20 years.
If they're as
hold
good as
the
my
line.
guys, as good as my guys, they're never going to tell me what happened in Orlando. But I don't know.
Who got the beers, PBD?
I don't know if they're because you know who you are. They're watching from all over the country.
Allegedly.
All right, let's go to the next story here. Keir Starmer, okay, UK Starmer admits he knew of relationship between Epstein and ex-ambassador Mandelson. Rob, can you show the picture of this guy, Mandelson, that came out that everybody's
Very
like,
flattering.
that is I mean, listen, folks, there's a lot of pictures that can come out. And look, we all have embarrassing pictures. All of us do, right? But this one's pretty bad. Oh, Rob, this is not doing it justice.
The lighting.
The lighting on this. But he is he's wearing a shirt and just with his underwear, and that's Mandelson, allegedly. And Keir Starmer knows that he knew of this relationship. By the way, right after this came out, did he resign? I thought he resigned. He stepped down or something, right?
Yeah, he was removed.
He was removed. Okay, Rob, is this it with him talking about it? Go for it.
Can the Prime Minister tell us, did the official security vetting he received mention Mandelson's ongoing relationship with the paedophile Jeffrey Epstein?
Prime Minister?
Yes, it did. As a result, various questions were put to him. I intend to disclose to this House all of the national security, prejudice to international relations on one side. I want to make sure this House sees the full documentation, so it will see for itself the extent to which time and time again Mandelson completely misrepresented the extent of his relationship with Epstein and lied throughout the process, including in response to the due diligence.
Mr. Speaker, I think it is shocking what the Prime Minister has just said. How can he stand up there saying that he knew, but he just asked Peter Mandelson if the security vetting was true or false? This is a man who had been sacked from cabinet twice already for unethical behaviour. That is absolutely shocking. And that is why later today, my party will call on the government to release all documents relating to Mandelson's appointment,
You can
not
pause
just
this.
the ones that...
I can listen to this accent.
I
all day.
love-
I'm
I
telling
was
you
just-
this.
Have you ever gone? I went.
I've never been in it.
So this is called. It used to be called Question Hour with the Prime Minister. Now it's called Question Time because it doesn't.
like 4-year-olds.
I've gone to this. They do it with such poise. Like I remember the questioning, and she's like, just because you're the head of child services doesn't mean you should act like a child, And it's just so well done. Like listen how they're talking about Epstein. It's
You
like
think he's going to step down?
Well, I mean, if you're watching that, I think that went extraordinarily well for him. I mean, I don't know whether he steps down or not. I mean, this looks like they're going to continue to pull that thread.
I just love that you nailed it. Like, think about it. When we say pedophile, it's like an indictment. They're like pedophile. It almost sounds like pedolite, like it's like a drink. But I think, and you made a great point about we're talking about Keir Starmer, and one of the things that you said about the blackmail. Ehud Barak was on a call calling him, asking him, think about this. And the first thing that Jeffrey Epstein said is, who owes you? Who owes you their life? Who owes you favors? He was almost like a consultant because he probably recorded everybody in those rooms where he had cameras. And that was it's the blackmail and why everybody went there thinking, Adam, I'm a president. I'm a prime minister. I can go to this island. Nobody's ever going to know. They're not recording it. These emails are never going to come to light.
Will he step down? Will he step down?
I think so. I think with this, he's going to have to. Besides the invasion that he let happen in England, this is it for him.
Tom.
I think this is it.
What I think most people in the U.S. don't realize is what the position here and what it meant. So Peter Mandelson was known as a fixer and a spin doctor for Tony Blair. And under Tony Blair, he was known as a prince of darkness. Because they really thought that he had... that he was the wrong guy to piss off. He was the wrong thing to do. And he petitioned hard for the third most powerful position in British government. You know what that is? Ambassador to the United States. That, they say, is the third most powerful position. Never mind the monarchy, they don't do anything. Somebody dies, they bring a wreath. And Tony Blair, you have your prime minister and the laws of Britain and all that goes with it. but Ambassador of the United States is huge. What also was in the Epstein files was what happened. Mendelsohn told Epstein about the $500 billion Eurozone bond bailout. And Epstein supposedly, allegedly, traded on that in his accounts with all the foundation accounts. So you've got Starmer's guy was leaking to Epstein. This is global bond markets it's $500 billion. And so you see that happening, and then you see the rest of the pictures and everything, and this was just a bad guy. And I happen to agree with the woman that was challenging Starmer in that all you did was ask, okay, you're not really into this, are you? Wouldn't you do, Pat, if we hire a director of marketing, we do a background check. We call references, right? You're telling me all you did, okay, give me your word. Give me your word. This Epstein rumor is not there. So Starmer either did incomplete research or was lied to up front, found out later, but then did nothing. And now when the box is open and everybody can look inside, Starmer's coming out. But you have to remember, this is a big deal. He was ambassador to the United States.
If you say he worked directly with Blair on that call with Epstein, okay, when he was talking to Ehud Barak, Tony Blair's name came up, and he said XYZ company pays him $2 million a year. What was the company that was it? A telecommunication company that paid him $2 million a year, Rob? Do you remember that they talked about? He says XYZ pays Tony Blair $2 or $3 million a year for a board seat. So I don't know how deep. If this guy knows anything about Blair's connection with Epstein, if he worked that closely with them, I mean, this can go even deeper now, Tom, than just, with Keir Starmer stepping down. It can go back to Tony Blair, and Tony Blair, wasn't he just assigned on the project on rebuilding of Gaza or something? Wasn't he given a job that had to do with Gaza?
On the Board of Peace, right?
Yeah, the Board of Peace with Kushner, I believe, and Witkoff, if I'm not mistaken. Adam, where are you at with this?
So with this situation with Keir Starmer?
Yes.
So let's get one thing clear. These lords in British politics mean nothing. Lord, you could do the most scandalous, ridiculous, sensationalist things ever. People who are named lords very rarely lose their title. So we saw Prince Andrew. What happened with him? He was a prince. Lord, what is he called? Lord
Farquhar.
Mandelson? Lord Farquhar, there you go. Jeffrey Archer was Lord Jeffrey Archer. This guy went to jail for perjury, famously did not lose his lordship. So who she is, are you familiar with who she is? She's basically the highest ranking, I want to say, member of the Conservative Party. So it would be the equivalent of like a black female conservative now running the Republican Party. So imagine if Candace Owens, pre-going off the Richter scale, was the face of the new Republican establishment. So this is, if you know anything about the Tories and conservatives in the UK, this is the party of Churchill. They've done nothing but destroyed UK. That the longest serving power players in UK history, the British people are like, we are so done with you. We're going to elect this absolute socialist weirdo Keir Starmer. And look where they are now with this.
Yeah, she's
so
like
she's
Speaker of the
coming in and
House or
actually
Senate
being like
Majority Leader.
sensible and basically saying, listen, we're not standing for this. She's almost like reinventing the Conservative Party in the UK, and God knows they need it.
By the way, that was like the easiest question and answer. I don't even think she thought it was going to be so easy. Please tell me this wasn't, you didn't know this. And he goes, I knew. She was like, oh,
wow, that was easy.
We didn't expect that to be so quick.
Why do you think he did that, though? Because if they said, by the end of the day today, we're going to be requesting for all communication, she was going to find out that there's communication
But who's been fired? I mean, he's got to, look, it's going to be him if he doesn't fire people who handled this for him, right? I mean, so if he doesn't fire the team that handled this, it's going to be him.
He's also the opposite of Trump. He's not built for these moments, the bright lights, and he's like, I confess. Or Trump would be like, you know me, I would never do something like that. It was this guy over here, what a loser. He's just not built for the bright lights, and he just basically admitted to hiring this guy.
Well, Trump would also go on the offense and would have looked at her and said, I don't like your smile.
That's
Terrible
true.
question.
But in politics, you have to do this. So now they're talking about what does Kalshi say the odds are that he's going to step down at this point?
Before September 1st.
60.
60%.
So basically flip a coin, if not more. This guy's out over this scandal?
Yes.
He didn't do anything wrong.
But
he wasn't
knew.
on the island.
He knew.
But he knew.
He knew.
So dominoes are going to fall.
Well, what happened to Penn State coach?
Joe Pa?
Yeah, what happened to him?
Sandusky?
Yeah.
Because he knew about when Sandusky was doing? Yeah.
He knew. He knew.
But he was on his way out anyway. He was like 90 years old.
Out, but I mean,
this guy's in his first term.
I get that.
By the way, Pat, this is yesterday, and look what happens at 4:40 p.m.
When he answers the question.
Boom!
Yeah, bingo.
When he answers
Did you
the
see
question.
that green line?
Yep. Yep.
So where was it
Good
prior to
point.
yesterday, Tom?
Low.
Nothing.
It was like 10,
Super
nothing,
low.
zero.
Irrelevant. It wasn't even a topic of discussion.
Wow.
That he's going to be stepping down.
So just
And
how
then-
quickly markets can change.
Yeah, well, let's talk about markets. You're talking about markets. Let me explain to you what happened
Snorter.
yesterday. Bitcoin. Rob, where's Bitcoin at right now? Bitcoin crashes to around 60,000 as historic free fall worsens. 68,000 is back up a little bit. Prices down over 50% over 4 months. This week, yesterday, equities, nearly $600 billion lost in equities because of AI. I think crypto this week lost $600 billion, $2 trillion since the high in October. Tom, what's going on over here?
So what has happened is, remember crypto? Well, guess what? It's going to be a hedge against inflation. It's going to be an alternative to fiat. It's going to go this way when the markets go that way. And now here we have the big test. We've got layoffs. We've got gold. We've got the U.S. dollar weakening. We've got a K-shaped economy where the consumer is increasingly under stress. Credit card debt at the highest of all time, almost $1.3 trillion right now. Whereas Wall Street with PE, especially in tech, has been doing okay. And so we're all waiting for the shoe to drop. The shoe to drop is the market and some economic things and some layoffs and everything. And all of a sudden, Bitcoin goes with it. Bitcoin was supposed to be different. And so right now we're trying to figure out, Pat, remember when everybody said, just don't worry about it. Get a little bit of Bitcoin. It's an inflation hedge. It's an inflation hedge. That was one of the core selling points. Well, now when things go sideways, wait a minute. This is 2 years of increases have gone down. This morning it said, if I'm correct, October 2024, it was 66. It's gone on a run, so it's returned and it's given back 2 years of gain.
Go to 5-year max, Rob. Go to 5-year if you could. Okay, and then go to max.
Yeah, there you go. You see where it is there? Now go back over 2024. That's right. All of that, a little more. October 2024. Up. 2024. Oh, sorry. There you go. There we are. Right there. So that everything since October 24 is gone. And so all this, it's like we're finding out, will the real Bitcoin please stand up? Are you an inflation hedge that's going to be stable over time? Are you alternative to fiat? Are you just another speculation stock that is going to react to the market, react to gold, react to inflation? And right now it looks like it's reacting to that. Now there's a lot of Bitcoin people who are going to say, this is temporary, Tom. No, you don't know what you're talking about. But rather than being stable and do the things that they said it's going to do, that all the proponents were together and saying, it's difficult. It's like, okay, the people who put their trust in it.
Well, let me ask you this. In the last week, have you bought any crypto?
No.
You haven't bought any? Okay, so you haven't taken advantage of the discount that's going on right now?
Before the sun sets today, I'm going to.
Okay, got it. So I just bought a bunch of XRP and Bitcoin yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
And I bought a bunch when it dropped to whatever the number was in the 80s, high 70s, 80s. And to me, the part about dollar cost averaging is it's so easy to teach, but it's so hard to execute.
Yeah, your emotions betray you on dark days.
It's so hard to execute.
Mm-hmm.
We can get in front of a board and teach our 13-year-old son, let me tell you how dollar cost averaging works. If you invest $100 and the stock is $10, you get 10 shares. It goes to 15, you get 6 shares. But if it drops to 5 and you're scared and you buy it, you get 20 shares. And the average between the three becomes $13. And so now you did it. But then when it happens to you, you're like, oh, I don't know if I'm on a dollar cost average. Boom, you missed it. It went back to 92. You could have bought it at 62. You could have bought it at 65. So Here's a part about
where they say the scared man becomes a day trader.
Yes, it does. And by the way, what I'm, I say this, the long-term thinkers win, short-term thinkers get destroyed. Long-term thinkers are able to go through the emotional difficulties of investment. Something goes up, something goes down. Long-term, everything ends up working out for the long-term thinker. But this is really scaring the crap of a lot of people. This is scaring the crap out of a lot of people. Jared, where are you with this?
Well, I mean, look, I think, the American people on whole, right, are not invested in Bitcoin and in crypto. To your point, this was supposed to be detached from everything else. It was supposed to be the hedge. That's what we constantly heard. But there's a lot of establishment investment now in here. There's a lot of regular big Wall Street that came into there. I still don't understand the Michael Saylor thing. I mean, I follow, micro strategies.
700,000-800,000 now.
Okay, and I don't understand, how that whole thing works. But so far, I mean, his stock, I think, is higher than Bitcoin, and he owns Bitcoin. So I don't understand how the company could, the value the company is doing better than Bitcoin is doing when the thing you own is being devalued. And so you talk to a lot of people who talk about these downward trends that happen in Bitcoin, that there's a cycle that happens. They talk about these cycles, and so far it's following the cycle, but it did go lower than the 60,000 threshold. They said if it hits 60,000, that should be the end of the cycle. Now it's up again.
Mm-hmm.
So let's see. Let's see now if it.
There's a whole different school of thought that they say it could hit as low as 26,000 to match the drops it's had over the years. And then from 26, it's going to go to 250, 500. It's kind of what they're talking about.
By the way, if it goes, the margin calls that are going to happen
No
at
question.
26,000.
You're right.
Oh, my Lord.
You're right. Yeah, that's, by the way, have you ever had a margin call?
I don't have enough money to do that.
Yeah, I had a margin call. But I was 25 years old when I got a margin call, when I had no money. And I put, I don't know what it was, $5,000, whatever, to buy some Nike stocks. And then I said, E-Trade came out and they said, you can use this to get XYZ and $15,000. And I'm like, no way.
Really?
Vinny, I did it. Let me tell you, when it dropped, I don't know, it was a handful of stocks I own. They're calling you. You're saying, hey, you have, and I'm like, how the hell am I going to pay this? You act like you have 15,000, but you only have 5,000.
Wow.
So it's allowing you to use credit, which is wonderful.
Yeah.
Because you're doubling and tripling without your money. It's like you're using credit card money margin call. But when you ever seen the movie Margin Call?
Yeah, of course.
Have you seen the movie Margin Call?
Oh, yeah.
With the
Kevin Spacey.
Kevin Spacey's in it.
At the very end, my dog died.
What a movie.
Great movie.
By the way, that anxiety in that movie, that's how it feels.
Oh, man.
And this, he's right. If it's 26,000, it's going to be some interesting people.
You're already seeing some, there's already margin calling happening. And so what's happening is other people are having to liquidate other assets, right, so that they have capital to pay the margin.
Yep.
So if this does continue to tank, it's going to bring down other stocks with it as people liquidate out of those.
Well, if you actually are a long-term investor, this is a good day for you because you can go buy some stuff. I've learned over the years that what goes up must come down. So who knows what's going on in the market tomorrow? Absolutely nobody. If Michael Saylor doesn't know what's going on with Bitcoin, believe me, your Uber driver has no clue. The guy that's like, bro, I just invested in
there is
XRP.
somebody that knows what's going on in the market. Her
Who's
name
that?
is Nancy Pelosi.
Oh. Maybe
she sold PayPal. She sold. Wait a minute. Did you not see the story?
What'd she do now?
Did you see the story? Nancy
Nervous
Pelosi
Nancy?
sold PayPal way before PayPal was going down.
Wow.
She knew
How
something.
would she know that?
Can you tell? Am I reading the story incorrectly?
No, you're
Why
correct.
do I feel like
Does
I
she have
read
an
the
8-ball?
story?
2 weeks. 2 weeks
Yeah,
before
she
it
sold.
announces.
Zoom in a little bit, Rob, my eyes. Yes, based on financial disclosure in German, Nancy Pelosi reported a sale of PayPal holdings took place December 30th. Pelosi sold 5,000 shares of PayPal. The transaction valued $250,000 to $500,000. The sale occurred just before a sharp decline of 27%. By selling in late December, the transaction allowed the Pelosi's household to avoid a potential loss of over $90,000.
She has the 8-ball.
Well, that's what I'm
to
saying.
do.
So unless if your name is not Nancy Pelosi and you don't have access to autopilot, where autopilot allows you to match the exact investments that Nancy Pelosi, I don't know if you've heard of Autopilot.
I've seen it on you. You can follow it. Yeah.
And by the way,
Tom's a millionaire now.
Autopilot. He kind of
made money.
Autopilot runs ads on Tom. Okay, I don't know if you've seen this or not. They did, yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. So Adam, to correct you, please give credit
so
to
other
Nancy
than God
Pelosi.
and
Don't
Nancy
disrespect.
Pelosi, nobody knows what's going to happen in the
That's
market.
better.
Here's what I tell people, Pat. I think we're on the same page with long-term thinking. If you want safe and security, think of it like a theme park. You want to be safe, go on the merry-go-round, buddy. You want investing, you want risk and reward, go on the roller coaster. Now, the only time you're going to die, if you go on the roller coaster, you try to jump off the ride in the middle of the ride. So I bought Bitcoin, I think at 20 many years ago. People are telling me, oh, dude, it's going to go to 100. Then I bought it at 40 again. I'm just looking at it on sale right now. I ask, Adrian and all my friends are in the Bitcoin space. 6 months ago, I go, you see this is all-time high? I go, what's the lowest we're ever going to see again? 80,000, bro. I swear. I go, 80,000, maybe 78. I text him today, buddy, we're at 60. You don't know nothing. Like I make, we bust each other's balls. Yo, you're an idiot. All my Bitcoin friends, you don't know anything. Oh, it's the Bitcoin halving. You understand there's only 21 million. Dude, you don't know anything. Nobody knows anything. If you're a long-term thinker, long-term investor, or a hodler, what are they called? Hold on for dear life versus a long-term holder, that this is a great thing for you. Dollar cost average and buy. If you're scared, if you're these people like the XRP, how many people did you talk to who are like, yeah, I don't know any crypto, I don't know any assets, but I'm an XRP guy. Do you even know what they do? Do you have that video of what our friend Max did, Pat? Tell me if you saw this video yet regarding XRP and all the people who are Ripple people. I don't know if, here you go, Rob.
What are you talking about, Adam?
I really wish Rob had this pulled up. I sent it to him about 10 minutes ago, but
Where?
Rob, it's in a text, but thanks, buddy. You thumbed it up and everything.
Rob, don't let him talk to you like that, Rob.
Yeah, seriously,
I'm
Rob.
telling you right
Don't
now.
thumb it up, Rob.
You know what?
Can I tee this up? Here are XRP holders and Ripple holders right now.
My f***ing money, motherfucker! Where's my f***ing money?
Because all these people invested in XRP because they thought that they were going to get rich. And what's the famous saying? Buy the rumors, sell the news. When your Uber driver is giving you advice on XRP, get out ASAP.
You keep bringing up the Uber driver.
Yeah. I take a lot of Ubers. That's why.
Well, do you talk to them about finance?
No, they barely speak English. But that's my point. Is that they barely speak English and they're recommending Ripple.
But by the way, if you look at Bitcoin, right, talking about the long-term investor, okay, if you didn't take any money off the table, you're back where you started if you got in the last year, right? So, when Trump got elected, that's when the huge run-up happened. It happened. It started happening in 24, not in 25. He gets elected, the huge run-up happens. So if you owned it at 60,000, 65,000, if you bought it right before the election and you didn't take any money off the table, you're right back where you started. So, this idea that, I'm in it for the long haul, well, if it's a roller coaster, then you got to take money out before the drop happens if that's going to be a consistent thing with it.
Yeah. And it seems to be that there is a pattern with it. It doesn't react like everybody thought it was going to react to the way that gold reacts. They don't react the same way. And this year was a confusing thing because gold went up. What is the price of gold right now, Rob? If we look it up. If you
do we need to text it to you, Rob?
Yeah.
He'll probably
49.83. By the way, Rob,
Sent that at 9 o'clock.
Rob, can you do me a favor, Rob? Pull up your Monect QR code. Do you have it or no?
I do not.
Okay, guys, pull up your Monecto. Pull up your Monect so people see your handle. Folks, if you don't appreciate Rob G getting bullied by Adam the way that he is, can you go send him a Monect right now? Rob, put the link below in the chat.
Rob, that's the
exactly
photo.
how we feel.
By the way,
that's
a good photo of him.
By the way, if we remove the name and said that photo was in a file that we looked at,
it's called
just saying.
It's called fits the profile.
Like Rob, if I was literally looking for a babysitter and I was going through,
don't let him do this to you, Rob.
I'm fine.
Don't let him do this to you.
I would send that photo.
Listen,
in.
Rob, nobody's immune from the
Let's go to the next story. Let's talk about Iran. Let's talk about Iran. Okay.
That's Rob.
Trump says Iran's Ayatollah should be very worried. Okay. Let's see. Page 25, Rob. I do think you have a clip on this one, and I think there's a tweet as well from the White House yesterday. President Trump warned that Iran's Supreme Leader Ayatollah Khamenei should be very worried during an interview with on Wednesday, amid rising tensions between Washington and Tehran. Here's the president.
The Supreme Leader in Iran be worried right now?
I would say he should be very worried, yeah. He should be. As you know, they're negotiating with us.
I know they are, but the protesters have said, you know, where are the Americans? You promised them we would have their back. Do we still have their back?
Well, we've had their back, and look, that country's a mess right now because of us. We went in, we wiped out their nuclear.
So that's the question. If we wipe them
we
out,
have peace in the Middle East.
Yeah.
If I didn't take out their nuclear, think of it. If we didn't take out that nuclear, we wouldn't have peace in the Middle East because the Arab countries could have never done that. They were very, very afraid of Iran. They're not afraid of Iran anymore. We wiped out those beautiful B-2 bombers, one's right over there. Those beautiful little model. Those beautiful B-2 bombers went in and they hit their target, every single bomb, and obliterated it. And because of that, they were going to have a nuclear weapon within 1 month. Within 1 month, they were going to have a nuclear weapon. That was a big threat that they're not going to have it anymore.
But if we obliterate it, what's the deal about? I mean, if there's no more, are they trying to restart the nuclear program?
Well, I heard that they are, and if they do, and I let them know, if they do, we're going to send them right back and do their job again.
So your understanding is they tried to restart it, and that's why you're threatening force?
They tried to go back to the site. They weren't even able to get near it. There was total obliteration. But they were thinking about starting a new site in a different part of the country. We found out about it. I said, you do that, we're going to do very bad things to you.
Yeah, Rob, you have the tweet as well, where they're saying to stay away from Iran. If you're American, leave in early February 2026. The U.S. virtual embassy in Iran issued a warning repeating that Americans should leave Iran now, if possible. Have a plan for departing Iran that does not rely on U.S. government help. Flight cancellations and disruptions are possible with little warning. Check directly with your airline for updates. If you cannot leave, find a secure location with your residence or another safe building. Have a supply of food, water, medications, and other essential items. It just came out yesterday. Avoid demonstrations. Keep a low profile and stay aware of your surroundings. Monitor local media for breaking news. Be prepared to adjust your plans. Keep your phone charged and maintain communication with family and friends to inform them of your status. This is not a regular warning, folks, that's being given to people. Jared,
I like the
what's your
avoid
thoughts?
demonstration part.
Well, I mean, let me say a couple of things on Iran, because I'm pretty hawkish. I supported the president launching the B-2 bombers after Israel had taken out the air capabilities, the air defenses that Iran had, and going out and taking out those facilities. I think that was the right decision. We've been talking about it for years. Obama talked about Iran having a nuclear weapon. Clinton talked about Iran having George W. Bush talked about it. And you know what they all agreed? Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon. So for 20 years, we've agreed that Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon. Trump was the first one to do something about it and launch the attack. I supported that. I do think, though, now is not the time to back out, right? We told the Iranian people we were coming to help. Now, I'm not for boots on the ground. That I don't think will be successful. But this idea that we can enter another JCPOA with them, no. I was against the first JCPOA. And if we're going to be consistent, it can't be like, oh, we were against it when Obama did it, but when Trump does it, we're going to be for it. This can't just be about nuclear weapons. It has to be about how do we help the Iranian people go forward. Now, you know more about this than anybody, okay? This isn't just like what happened in Venezuela, where if you just take out the supreme leader, like everything else will be fine. No, there's a whole list of people that come after that. So this is a lot more complicated. Now, the Iranians only want to talk about nuclear. That's their negotiating team has said, we're not talking about ballistic missiles. We're not talking about, the people and their rights. Now, look, if we can, through a deal, right, get some of those things, I'm very interested. But if the deal is only on nuclear weapons, then it's JCPOA all over again. And you know what? If I'm the Supreme Ayatollah, you know what my goal is, even though he's an old man? My goal is I just got to survive 3 years. I just got to get past Trump. I'll get him into a deal. I'll get past Trump because the next guy, ain't going to do this.
I agree.
And Trump can't fall for it. Now, he's got people around him. I think Marco is leading him in the right direction. Vance sometimes concerns me because he's an isolationist. But Trump's got to recognize it's him or nobody. I mean, that's where we're at when it comes to Iran. Like Trump, don't like Trump. They look at Trump as crazy as they are. Okay, and that works in that area of the region.
Jared, I think I agree with you on us intervening. I saw videos yesterday. I couldn't even send them to Rob because of how bad people talk about protesters and stuff like that. IRGC is driving through crowds, and I saw people getting completely run over.
I saw those.
And you know what I'm talking about, so I can't send it to Rob. Two things. I think, well, first of all, I don't think Trump, and we know how he plays this chess, he's not going to divulge our plans of attacking or not to some reporter that the network absolutely despises him. I want to ask you a question, Jared. Do you think, because I remember when everything was getting ramped up and looked like we were going to go, and then Trump made a comment about Reza Pahlavi, the prince of the king's son. Do you think, Jared, some of this is not stalled, but kind of slowed down because Trump doesn't have confidence that Reza could take the lead? Because, Jared, at the end of the day, if we go in there and we do a strategic strike, which I think we could take out everybody, the fact that this guy's hiding, we know exactly where he is right now, all day, all the time. Do you think we're kind of holding back because they don't have a leader, because somebody's going to have to step up?
No, I actually think if you look at what happened in Venezuela, right, which from a military standpoint, whether I argue that, the president doesn't have that ability to do that without coming to Congress, although, yes, it's happened in previous presidencies. Yes. But if you look at the strike itself, it was 100% successful, right? Yes. In and out, no boots on the ground, no lives lost, accomplished the mission. I think that they recognize if they're going to do something, it has to be flawless. They didn't have the assets in the region. So they've been moving more and more and more assets in the region. By the way, we heard from Venezuela, they were practicing, right? All of that stuff is going on now. They're planning for all sorts of contingencies. But look, what comes next? Let's say the regime falls. What comes next? Nobody knows. The idea that we're going to install somebody, I don't think that's going to be accepted. But that's going to be up to the Iranian people. I will say one thing, right? We have heard a lot about other countries and about war crimes and this and that, and their leaders. They've killed tens of thousands of people here in these protests. Yep. And we may never know how many. We may never know the real number. But because it's not being fed to people every single day on TikTok, on the platforms like other conflicts, the American people really don't know what's going on there.
So, want me to go?
Go ahead.
So, there's a genocide going on in Iran right now. Straight up. Their regime is killing tens of thousands of their own people, allegedly. So, where are the protests? Where's the Gaza crowd? Where's the social justice warriors? Why are you guys all so silent? Not one word. Not one encampment. Not one sign. When ICE kills somebody, there's a protest with signs in minutes. Not one sign. Social justice warriors on the left. Nothing.
There's no gays for Iran?
No, there's no gays for Iran.
I didn't see
the
that.
Grammys, you're gonna say no one's illegal on stolen land. You're not gonna say one thing about the tens of thousands of people that are killed in a week in Iran. Really, this is what we're doing. So when people look at your movement and go, bunch of hypocrites, nothing, they just hate Israel. Because when the Iranian people kill people the regime kills people, their own people. You judge a regime on what they do to their own people. They're murdering their own people, and you mother suckers are silent. Your silence is what people are noticing. I'm sorry. So I don't know what USA is going to do, but I don't know what the people of Iran are going to do, because here's the one question. How many more dead Iranian bodies are we going to need before the world goes, all right, guys, it's too much? Because they said genocide in Israel and Gaza literally 3 days after when they...
No, the next day.
The next day.
Next day.
But I hear zero genocide. So forgive me if we no longer care what the Gays for Gaza crowd or the Free Palestine crowd has to say if you're going to stay silent on what they're doing in Iran. It's absolutely disgusting.
Tom.
It's been said. You and Jared said it. I don't have anything to add.
Yeah, if you look at this here, U.S.-Iran nuclear deal. Rob, is this the one? What does it say?
Right now it's at 74%.
Before August, 74% they're going to get a deal? Oof.
And that just jumped. I mean, that jumped in hours. That's 24 hours.
If you look at the amount of the volume on it, it's $81,000. Rob, can you go to the other one with Khamenei? Look at this one here.
Wow.
Ali Khamenei out as a supreme leader. Look at the amount of money they've placed on this one here. Look at the volume. $16.75 million, Vinny.
Jeez.
$16.75 million saying he'll be out by September 1st. I think right now this is.
By the way, if he just dies of natural causes, do you win?
I think so.
question.
That's a very good question. Or is the prediction
That still counts.
He's still out. He's out. He's definitely out.
You know what's interesting about
He's
this?
going to go up to heaven and have his 72. So
Nah, I don't think.
What's very interesting about this, Kalshi, Pat?
What's that?
Is they say he's out. 100% say he's out. 21% says it'll be before April 1st. 32% says it'll be before July 1st. So now that's 53, 54. Then 37% says it'll be September 1st. So that's 84, 93, 94.1.
So 94% is saying he's going to be out.
Do you see what I'm saying? They all say he's out. It's just when.
That's our Tom Kornacki on the ones and twos right there. He knows
he
what's
got
going
the
on.
point one wrong, but for the rest of it, he did right. So if you do the math, Tom, the point one would be 0.7. But I'm not going to correct
Every
him.
time, it's a decimal.
No,
He always forgets the decimals.
Guy.
Look, he's turning red. Come on, Tom.
I didn't want to carry the one, and the one that's going to be missing is Khamenei.
Yeah, but going back
Good save,
to it,
Tom.
going back to it, I think what is going on right now is the Iranian people are truly waiting for Trump to get this done.
Yeah.
And if he doesn't do it, there isn't anybody else that can get it done for them. And it could be another 20 years.
Oh, man.
If 20 years. You're
I thought
assuming.
they don't want foreign influence, though, Pat.
Another 20 years before anything else takes place where they'll have an opportunity of a guy like this capable of doing it. But the part that they have to understand with him, when I sat with him and we did the podcast, he specifically said, I said, will you intervene? Will you drive pressure to Iran? Will you? He says, I don't know. We have to stay fluid. Every strategy is going to be different with everything we do. He says, but Patrick, we already have so many problems in America right now that we have to fix. We have so many problems. So that's not good for Iranians because that's not what Iranians want to hear.
Of
right?
course.
That is a message where you're seeing the Donald doctrine like this. But I also the part that doesn't change for me with this is he is so unpredictable. You have no idea what's going on. At all. The moment he thinks that you think he's going to attack here, he doesn't attack. And then he attacks the moment you think he's not going to be attacking, and then he attacks. That's his way. That's been his motto so far. So we'll see what'll take place. But the reality of it, going back to it, I don't know if there is anybody as a replacement right now. Like you said earlier, allow the people to select who they want and who they want their leader to be. We have no idea what's going to happen. I do think if it doesn't get done, I think a lot of criticism will go, maybe not by the RP community, because the RP can never do anything wrong in their eyes at all. He can never do anything wrong in their eyes.
Perfect.
I think in their eyes, he's their son. In their eyes, he can't do anything wrong. But if this doesn't get done, I put a lot of the onus on him. And I said it from the beginning, because he's never had this close of a shot to get this thing done. And again, every time I say this, people get upset, but that's my position. It hasn't changed.
Pat, one follow-up on this, if you don't mind.
Tell me.
It seems like the people of Iran have the most hope they've had maybe in 47 years. If there was, like there's the fear-greed index when it comes to the economy and markets.
Yeah.
Where is the Iranian people on the hope-despair index?
Lower than 4 weeks ago. Lower than 2 weeks. It's been declining. It's probably the lowest in the last 4 weeks.
Well, we said help was on the way. I mean, we didn't say it. The president said help is on the way, right? I mean, let's just be clear. If Obama said help was on the way and then no help came,
that's expected.
Okay,
They're
right.
crossing those red lines.
No, but like everyone would have called them out, like they did when we said this is a red line in Syria, and then it wasn't a red line. Trump said help is on the way. If help doesn't come, look, the president recognizes something, I think, in his life, right? I think he realizes, he's got 3 years left his presidency. He's an older guy. Like he's trying to put his stamp on things. Okay, if he backs away from this, that will be part of his legacy. Versus the opposite, which is this is not just about the Iranian people. He can fundamentally change the entire region immediately.
The world.
Yeah.
The world.
But you made a good point.
China would suffer. Russia would suffer.
That's right.
But
Venezuela.
But you have to realize, Turkey's calling them saying don't do anything.
Yep, Qataris are calling them.
Qatar's calling them saying don't do anything. These are people that are very, very important players in the Middle East. I don't even think Saudi wants him to do anything. So if he's getting those calls and those are good partners and they don't want him to do anything and he's getting that close, question becomes who's going to convince him to do something? Not going to be China, not going to be Russia, not going to be Modi. Who's it going to be? Just Israel? Is Israel's going to be the only one that's going to say do it?
Well, don't believe what you read publicly.
Yeah.
Right? Like, so the Saudis are never going to come out and say, please do this. They're going to come out and say, we're against it. You can't use our airspace. We're not going to help.
Yep.
Privately, conversations are different. So, like, sometimes you see like, oh, Mr. President, please don't do this. When is it happening? When's it going to happen?
Of course.
Right? And especially with the first, when we did those B-2 bombers, Saudi was also saying, please don't do it. We used their airspace. Okay, so
what do you think they're saying in private then? Because in public, no, I think the UAE said can't use our airspace.
I think this is the most important thing to MBS is to have it. I think what I gather from what Saudi Arabia wants to accomplish is I think they recognize for the Middle East to emerge as a major economic region, which it has the potential to do. This is a necessary piece. You're never going to be able to become what you want to become.
What's the holdup? What do you think is the holdup?
I think personally, when we went into Venezuela, we took out Maduro. We by the way, we set the plan that you talked about, Jared. We went to the number 2 and number 3 and said, hey, listen, you guys were all going to get wiped out. Follow in line, do what we're going to say. And they're kind of holding it together. Because think about it. The military still has to be in charge. The government still has to run. And with Khomeini, who's going to be the number 2 guy? Another crazy person that's going to, there's no negotiating with that sense. So I'm saying that's why I think, Jared, we didn't go, he kind of is holding back. Because if you take out Khomeini, which by the way, they can take him out like that, who's number 2? Yeah. Another crazy anti-American, death to America, death to everybody. I think they went a little bit too far, but I don't think Trump's not going to do it.
But the Israelis showed you could take out multiple people at a time, right? And so, listen, it takes a while to put those things into motion.
I think he'll do it.
So I'm good with pause, right, and time, but I'm not good with never.
I think he'll do it. I think he's going to do it. But
on the hope despair chart, if you want to have like a tough versus fake tough chart, Iran is fully on the fake tough chart. For years, death to America, like Maduro, come and get me. Oh yeah, we'll come and get you. The death to America chants, the death to Israel, the death to England, the death to the West, and you've never won a fight. All you do is fund proxies. Your Triple H crew with Hamas, Hezbollah, the Houthis, you're funding Islamic Jihad. You haven't won a fight since the 80s.
Trump is
so you're
unpredictable.
40 years of not winning anything, and you're still talking tough, Ayatollah.
You know the best
I think at any point, if they want to take him out, they could. The people that would suffer the most, which clearly the Ayatollahs and the mullahs don't care, are the Iranian people. The number one question is, how many Iranian lives have to die before this regime falls? Because tens of thousands didn't move the needle one bit.
Well, guess what? The fact that they just told all the people there, the embassy and everything like that, watch Trump. The best time for him to do it would be halftime during Bad Bunny's performance, just to make everybody look away from that thing.
Are you reading the cables? Are you reading the international cables?
Yeah.
Getting back to Pat's question, take a look at history. We moved Maduro out when we knew that whether it's CIA or it's other things or knowing who's behind him, that there's going to be some relative stability and something progressing behind it.
Yes.
When we went and got Noriega and plucked him out of Panama, there was something that was relatively stable. We at least knew what was going to come up behind it. Neither of those destabilized.
Yep.
Now you go take a look at right now, we have history. Twice we armed the Mujahideen and got the Russians out of Afghanistan, but there was no leadership to flow in, and it became even more crazy than it was before the Russians were there. Then what you saw what happened to Saddam Hussein, and there was no backup plan, and it went nuts in Iraq. So I believe America is waiting till they can invoke and kind of control who and what comes up there, because if you just take them out, history shows you in that side of the Middle East, what flows in can be far worse and more uncontrollable.
And we're not talking about the oil, right? So the problem also is that if you take out a couple of people, right, and all of a sudden there's just mass chaos and they stop producing as a result, oil prices are going to spike. And so he's hearing that as well. But, listen, again, I think the president has to realize that it's him or nobody. He's got a period of time to do it. If he doesn't do it, then the Iranian people, this is their future.
Well, I don't think it's going to get worse than this.
I'm moving on. Chinese-linked biolab discovered in Las Vegas. Adam will go 50 times if we don't stop him.
This is something that's important.
Chinese-linked biolab discovered in Las Vegas home sparks federal investigation with SWAT response. Rob, if you have a clip on this, go for it.
Jeez.
Our 8 News Now investigators breaking yet more news about that biolab that was raided over the weekend. Documents we obtained reveal several people got sick from it. 8 News Now investigator David Charnes breaking that story. And David, what are you learning about it tonight?
Well, these new documents say several people became sick from that suspected lab inside a house that police and the FBI are labeling as an Airbnb or a short-term rental. Metro showing this video of the inside of that lab, inside that Northeast Valley's home garage. We've learned a person tipped off the FBI in early January that that garage was locked and that there were fridges running inside. A person telling those investigators that it smelled like a hospital with a, quote, foul, stale, stagnant air smell. Now, documents say several days after entering that garage, 2 people became, quote, deathly ill. They said they couldn't get out of bed, and several other people had gotten sick there before. Also learning items from this lab were moved from a different location here in the valley, possibly from several years ago when that location failed to get a state license. Now, as we first reported over the weekend, this lab is connected to a lab the feds actually raided 3 years ago in 2023. That location there in Reedley, California, outside Fresno. Inside, officials found similar equipment and pathogens like HIV and malaria. Court documents in that case mention Las Vegas and possible warehouses here. And today, I asked the city manager for that community about her reaction to this latest lab. What was your reaction when you saw over the weekend that all these same people were involved in yet another potential biolab, but this time in Las Vegas?
I will say that I was not surprised.
You can pause it right there. Vinny, thoughts?
Okay. So, Congressman, this is a question that's going to come to you after I talk about. I don't know how this isn't one of the biggest stories. Me and you talked about this yesterday. So we just found this out.
Yep.
In June, the DOJ arrested 2 Chinese nationals in Detroit for smuggling fungus that was going to be an agricultural terrorist weapon. During the Biden administration, China bought land, congressmen all over the United States, including next to military bases. They flew spy balloons at will. Nobody stopped them. Nobody said anything. Gavin Newsom rolled out the red carpet for Xi Jinping. All the homeless people disappeared. Maybe they should have him visit more often. It'll save the taxpayers billions. And then China, let's go back, right, Tom? Xi Jinping's here. Clean up the homeless people. China,
to Sacramento.
in my opinion, Vincent Oshana's opinion, unleashed COVID on the world. Never been held accountable. And anyone that even opened their mouth and said China virus, we're all considered racist. So my question is very simple, Congressman. At what point are we going to start treating China like the enemy that they are instead of saying that they're the adversary and continue to put Americans at risk? This is one lab that we found. Who knows what else is here? Because the border was wide open. How many? The amount of Chinese nationals that crossed over were absolutely insane. I'm just curious to what your take is on that.
Well, I mean, first of all, based on this, I need to go home and clean out my garage fridge.
ASAP.
I mean, there's some stuff in there that's old that definitely is a biohazard. So the guy, by the way, there's a guy the guy in jail for the first lab.
Yeah.
This is also his lab.
This
He's
is his.
connected to this lab.
Yes.
And we got him the first time. This is China.
Yes.
This is directly linked to the CCP.
Yeah.
To have this stuff here just in case. Okay, there's just no doubt about it. First of all, remember, I did the COVID response for the entire state of Florida.
Yep.
I didn't see my family for 4 months. I was quarantined with my whole team in the EOC. We lost a lot of doctors, a lot of nurses in those hospitals. I was doing, all sorts of PPE, testing, vaccines, the whole deal. That virus came out of a lab. There's no doubt about it. The idea that it's like, okay, there's this lab that is called the coronavirus Wuhan lab. But it didn't come out of there. It came out right across the street from the lab. From the wet market. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
So it came out of the lab. Now, whether it was an accidental leak, okay, or it was an intentional leak, that I don't know. Whether China allowed it to leave so that everyone got it, not just them. I mean, they let people leave China.
Of course.
They didn't lock down. They could have done that. This is absolutely China. China is our number one foe.
Yes.
We have to also understand and deal with the fact that they are a major economic force. Okay, they're not like anybody else. We can't deal with them from a military standpoint. It's a totally different. We're totally encumbered with them. We offshored a lot of our stuff to China so we could have cheaper goods here.
Yeah.
And so we are intricately linked. We have made them a rich nation. We have done that by becoming a consumer nation and making them a manufacturing nation. But this is absolutely China. There's no doubt about
So,
it.
Congressman, so my question is then how do we address, I get exactly what you're saying. That's where I was going to talk about a little bit earlier. But how do you address this? Yeah, we need each other for business, but you are trying to destroy, like, if this, God forbid, was another COVID, Congressman, we're finished again.
You got to weaken them. You got to weaken them economically. And so what you have to do, which is why I wasn't a fan of the tariff situation. What I was a fan of was trying to onshore jobs back to America, right? Get some of these factories, get some of these corporations. Between the end of the Biden administration and the beginning of the Trump administration, we spent $8 trillion in these COVID rescue packages. You know how much money we put in there to onshore jobs back from China? Zero. That was our opportunity to do it. You know, the Chips and Science Act, some of that is the same thing, trying to onshore some of the stuff out of Taiwan back to America. We got to get manufacturing back here. First of all, God forbid we got into a world war. We don't make shit here. Okay, nothing. I saw that during COVID. We had to convert factories to make masks and ventilators. It took 10 weeks to do that. Nobody could figure it out, and we had to put so much money into it. China has so much control over everything that's made. Like 90% of medical ingredients come out of China. By the way, it comes out of Wuhan, out of all places.
Weird.
Okay, we have to get some of these jobs back. That means prices are going to go up here. And now with the tariffs, I just don't know that we have the ability to do that.
So when you said we need to weaken them economically, I feel like the reason that they unleashed COVID was because Trump was trying to weaken them and put the tariffs and do the trade deals with them. I think that was their response was, okay, we're going to destroy him. He's not going to become president. COVID.
By the way,
so now what do we do?
We haven't even mentioned the critical mineral issue, right? Like I was one of 10 Democrats that voted for the bill just yesterday. I'm getting a lot of crap for it because it had to do with mining. But for me, it's all about critical minerals. People don't realize it because, to your point, it's not a top story, right? We're not educating the voter. China controls 80% of the world's critical minerals. Putting aside that we need those things for cell phones and chips, all of our military weapons, all of them need these critical minerals. And they control 80% of not just where these mines are, but the processing. That's the key. The processing. We got to get control of some of these mines. We're going to have to mine here to find some of these critical minerals. We're going to have to mine other places. That's why I never understood this idea of, America first means we're going to retract from the world. You retract from the world, China takes the world.
Yep.
They take the whole world when we retract from the world. Totally. We can't do that. That is not America first.
Tom.
So this is exactly why you're seeing Trump. Minerals was on the table on the first, second, and third offers for Ukraine. It was mineral mining so that they could be processed. Minerals in Greenland was part of the discussion. And there's a variety of things that are going on in the U.S., alternative means of getting lithium, like getting lithium out of seawater, although just like desalination, it costs a fortune to do that unless you use fifth-generation small nukes and would actually decide you're going to permit those because they create a lot of electricity where you could run desalination, just like they do in Saudi Arabia, by the way. That's why parts of Saudi Arabia are getting so green, because they desalinate a lot, and they've got the power to do it. And so what Trump has been on a run on this, what's it, USA Mineral or USA, the company that was created. So you're absolutely correct, and he is trying to reduce that dependence. You know, rare earth minerals and magnets will bring the defense industry to its knees, particularly magnets, if they suddenly stop. But the president has been looking at, national security in terms of two things: defense and economic security is national security. And that is what you're seeing. The president's progress has been made on rare earths, and he should keep driving it.
Adam.
Yeah, this story should scare the hell out of you. So China releases in a wet market across from the Wuhan lab, the COVID in 2020, basically getting their entire country sick and turn the entire world. They said to themselves, why do it in our own country this time? Let's go do it in Wuhan, Las Vegas. So I'm reading this story and I'm like, what in the Wuhan lab, Breaking Bad, Anthony Fauci world is going on here in Las Vegas? Imagine if they let a virus out right now in Trump's second term, trying to derail Trump's second term for the second time. So like, this is very scary. Here's a little marketing idea for anyone who wants to get some eyeballs on probably the most important story of our lifetime, which is China trying to take over the world. The guy that owned the house was Jia Bezos, but the property manager was a 55-year-old man named Ori Solomon. Just say that Ori Solomon has ties to the Mossad and he met Xing Zhu in Epstein Island.
I knew it.
And
I knew it.
will focus on this thing moving forward. Oh, Chinese people in Las Vegas with a lab leak, no big deal. But he was on Epstein Island once. Whoa!
Get that
Alert the
Chinese
authorities. Because attention flows where energy flows. Tension flows where energy goes. Unless you take the attention off of Epstein and put it on really things that are changing the world, like Chinese lab leaks in America, nobody's going to pay attention to this.
All right, let's go to the next story. WaPo fires over 300 journalists as Jeff Bezos discriminated against white workers, allegedly.
What?
Okay, wait a minute.
Uh-oh. He's
white.
white.
WaPo fires over 300 journalists as Jeff Bezos ignores correspondent. Please, I combined two stories together.
Oh, it's okay.
Please, by the way, that sounded good, though.
I was like, he's white, though.
Let me go to it. All right, page 28 is the story. Rob, do you have this? I think you may have a clip on this. So WaPo on Wednesday announced layoffs for a third of its newsroom, including its entire sports desk, ignoring reporters' impassioned pleas to billionaire owner Jeff Bezos. More than 300 journalists. Go ahead, Rob. Play the clip.
The Washington Post, owned by Amazon founder Jeff Bezos, began widespread layoffs on Wednesday in a move that would drastically shrink the size of the newspaper. That's according to a recording of a company-wide call shared with Reuters. A spokesperson for the newspaper said the cuts will impact a third of all employees. Executive editor Matt Murray told employees the reductions will hit international, editing, metro, and sports desks. The announcement comes just days after the paper scaled back its coverage of the 2026 Winter Olympics amid mounting financial losses. News outlets have struggled for years to maintain a sustainable business model in the digital era.
You can pause it right there. Tom, thoughts?
So isn't it interesting that the world's second richest man who bought a newspaper, and he said on the day he bought it, to save democracy, right? Is that okay? Let me tell you, he's a businessman. And in the last 3 years, 1 year was a $64 million loss. 1 year was a $111 million loss. Check me on those numbers, but I believe those are correct. And he's finally saying, wait a minute, I don't know if we can make a business out of this. This has to go to digital subscriptions. I saw a chart yesterday published by the Wall Street Journal that showed that only the Wall Street Journal and the New York Times were having profitable success long-term on digital subscription as papers disappear. What's very interesting is we're down here in South Florida, and you remember how big the Sun Sentinel used to be. My father-in-law will come from Idaho, stay with us for about a month and a half at a time, and he wants a daily paper. So we get the Sun Sentinel. Have you seen how big that is now? It's small. It's like a pamphlet. That's what's happened to the newspaper. So it's a business that is dying. The internet has killed it. Instant news is dead. And Bezos did this, I think, to control narrative and things. Now, it's a business decision he's making. Well, there was also a business decision he made where they were ready to go. It used to be when you run for office, what do you want? You want the police chief, you want the fire chief, you want the newspaper, all to give you an endorsement. Oh, look, the mayor has been endorsed by all these people in the League of Women's Voters. If you got that, then you got all the people that represented that. Then all you needed was the teachers union. And in the small town mayor, you probably would win. So these were important vehicles in our history and elections. They were about to come out and endorse Kamala Harris. And Bezos pulled it. He said, no, we will be neutral. We will support no one. The newsroom erupted and said, we think you're making the wrong call. Now, for America, I think Bezos made the right call. But to tell you who was subscribing to the Washington Post, they lost 200,000 digital subscriptions in the next, 30 to 60 days. that was there. So they didn't have a profitable business. They don't have a profitable business. Now, there are better ways to do this because the layoff was happening. And where's Bezos? Bezos should have been there and should have been able, like most entrepreneurs do, say, well, you know, this part didn't work, this part did, but I tried. Failure is the freedom to fail. It's part of entrepreneurship. It's part of American capitalism. Instead, people think that Bezos has been cozying up to Trump to get certain benefits for other businesses that he wants, such as Amazon, and he has a space business. And he was actually giving a spaceport tour to J.D. Vance, supposedly at the exact time that the announcements of the layoffs were made to the people, and that the executive editor wasn't even on the call when people were told, you know how they did it, Pat? Don't come to work tomorrow, get on an 8 a.m. Zoom, and then watch your email.
Let me ask this though, Tom. He bought it in October of 2013 for $250 million. He just let go of 300 journalists. I looked at online what the average salary is between $55 to $200,000. Let's take the average of $120,000 salary.
That's fair.
120,000 times 300. That's $36 million a year in savings. Okay, automatically that you save that $36 million. Do you think he's sitting there? You know, sometimes you buy a business and you buy it for different reasons to feed the flywheel. And it ends up creating a lot of noise. Do you think WaPo has been the #1 noise creator for him, that he probably sits there saying, why the hell did I get into this business?
I think that's very true. When he bought it, I read, and this goes back years ago, I read an analysis. It was like a private equity analysis. You know, when private equity buys, you and I are in this business, private equity buys a business, they immediately trim certain things.
Sure.
Well, the question was, why the hell would any daily newspaper have its own sports section when ESPN and the leagues have their own sites, their own apps and everything? What are you going to add to conversation about the Washington Nationals that the MLB app, MLB.com, and ESPN don't always already cover?
So you would have cut that day one.
I would have cut that day one and just say, hey, we're going to be about the community. We're going to be about the political dialogue. We're going to bring you angles on international things. And I would have looked at what really, really works and what's not redundant and what can I, crazy entrepreneurial capitalist word, what can I differentiate on? Rather than me too, me too, me too, me too. And so I think this has created a lot of noise for Bezos for the last 5 years, and it's created a hole at the bottom of his pocket. Remember, what did he pay for it? $250?
$250 in October of 2013.
And he self-funded 107.
Half.
In the last 3 years, he self-funded 174 in losses.
By the way, let me ask you a question. If he puts it on the market right now for sale, how many buyers are there that for just vanity reasons would buy it?
I think there's a reasonable number of buyers. The LA Times syndicate has got it kind of turned around. I don't know if they have the capital, but they've had a bloody path of their own, a terrible path of their own, the LA Times. So I think someone would be there, but I don't think there's going to be a line at the door. I mean, take a look at CNN. How long did they try to sell that before the current situation with WBD? They were trying to sell CNN at the last 2 Allen conferences, and Zaz couldn't get any takers. We talked about that on this podcast. And you would ask the same question, Pat. You would say, doesn't someone see value in CNN to come in and turn it right? I know what I would do.
I mean,
with
Mark
that.
Benioff just came out and said, Time Magazine, we're just not making money with Time Magazine.
Yeah.
And he bought it for, I don't know what he paid for, $350 something when they bought it. And Rob, if you want to look this up, and that created a ton of noise. I do think there's a lot of people that would buy it. You know, there's certain assets I'm looking up right now. New York Times has roughly 11.88 million total paid subscribers with 11.3 million digital only. Okay.
The New York Times and Wall Street Journal are the best in digital, and
Sure.
they're making money.
That's right.
Very few others are.
WaPo has 2.3 million, those two combined. I'm trying to figure out what LA Times is. Apparently, LA Times' print and digital is 650,000, which means, and by the way, you know what Peter paid for LA Times?
LA.
$500 million. Oof. I don't know. I think he can probably turn this and make a profit and sell it for $500 million. As crazy as it sounds, I think some billionaire would buy it from him. I don't know why Bezos is not dumping WaPo and moving on with his life It's creating so much if I was his PR rep or if I'm his agent manager, sitting there saying, Jeff, why?
What are you doing?
What are you doing? There's nothing you can do right that you're going to win with WaPo. Dump the damn thing. Let me get to work and sell it at a discount. We'll still get $450 for it and make you an additional $200 million. I would dump WaPo in a heartbeat if I was him. Adam.
Well, I think he is regretting purchasing it the day that Trump got reelected in 2024. He's like, yeah, I'm out on this. Because if Trump didn't get reelected, all the media landscape would be completely different right now. So look at all the billionaires who have spent money on media. You're not doing it namely as just an investment. So take what Elon did and saved free speech. $44 billion, I think he spent on X. That's an anomaly. Most of these guys who are worth hundreds of billions are spending hundreds of millions on media. 1% of their net worth. This isn't a big transaction for someone like Bezos. He's worth $250 billion. He bought this for $250 million. It's just a drop in the bucket. 1%. He spent $500 million on his mega yacht. Bezos. So this to me is nothing. This is all about controlling the narrative, making impression on culture.
But he's not
It's
able
not
to do it.
controlling the narrative. It's just
He's
noise.
not able to do it.
Because
Less than noise.
Trump became president. If Trump wasn't president and Kamala was president, you don't think you'd be railing on what's going on here? Kamala using that as like a leverage to getting closer to the administration. So now, was Bezos at the inauguration? Yes or no? He was. Remember, Mark Zuckerberg was famously looking at Bezos' wife's chesticles, whatever you want to call them. So he's playing a hard game now.
Nobody uses that.
Nobody uses that.
I've never heard it.
I've never heard
That's
that.
right.
Ever.
Try
Go ahead.
not to get canceled by the trans community. But with chest feeding.
She ain't trans, baby.
Once Trump became president, Bezos was like, oh no. Now I'm
He
caught
bought it
in
in
the middle of a
13,
pickle.
though. He
here.
bought it in
But by the
13.
way, I disagree. The greatest
13.
time
Yeah,
I
for
don't think so.
media is Trump. If you can't make money in media now,
Very good point.
if you can't make money now, you are not going to make it after
Right.
Trump.
But I
Then
understand
sell
that.
it today.
Yeah,
Because it's never going to
I
get as good as
understand that,
this.
but
Dump it.
Bezos wants to get closer to the Trump administration for other reasons.
But by the way, Bezos
For Amazon
is,
and for Blue Origin.
You asked the question earlier why people got close to Epstein, right? So we talked about how billionaires are not cool. You know, cool people don't have money, they're broke, all these different reasons. Bezos is the face of billionaires who were not cool.
Yeah.
And he tried to become cool. So he got some TRT in his body looks good, exercises,
Yeah.
became cool, dates a
Moved to
beautiful girl,
Miami?
moved to Miami. He's kind of trying to get through that phase.
Launched
But to
Katy
me,
Perry.
number one advice today, dump this damn asset. I wouldn't be surprised if in the next 12 months we hear a story that Jeff Bezos has sold WaPo for $339 million to some other billionaire out there. Don't be surprised if it happened this quickly. He's at a phase of his life that he needs to minimize noise. He's graduated into the cool phase now. You don't need to do this anymore.
But then he won't own a media asset.
Now, go buy a sports team. Go buy something else. Don't do this. You can be cool. Sports owners are different. They're cool. If you think about sports owners like, hey, you know, they go to Thai massage places. You know, they go to different kind of places. Sports owners, they have a different kind of a reputation in the marketplace, right?
Don't go after my guy
Who?
over there.
Did I?
Patriots.
Well, we're going to get into that here in a minute because we got to find out who's going to do this. But I want to get
Greatest
into
sports
one other
owner in
story. I want to get into
NFL
one other story before we wrap it up. What was the story? I was literally just looking at the story I want to go to next. Oh, here we go. It's probably out of all the stories we've talked about, I'm probably going to put this at the top. I'm going to put this at the top, and I think you're going to agree with me when I read this to you.
serious?
No, it's a very
Is it like
serious
national
story.
What happened
security?
in Malaysia?
No, I'm just trying to see because
What happened
look,
in Malaysia?
What happened?
Oh.
Jared, how hard do you guys work with your job?
Congress?
Yeah.
It's a joke.
It's a joke?
It's a joke.
Not that much work.
We had a 3-day work week this week.
Okay.
Well, because
perfect.
it's, yeah.
Well, then that's good for this.
First of all, it's not even a 3-day work week. We fly in, we have votes Monday night, then we had one set of votes Tuesday, votes Wednesday afternoon, out.
Done.
That's it.
That's it.
Are you guys hiring?
I don't think you can make this sort of money.
Rob,
I don't think you can make this sort of money. Rob, you're going to have to change your
But
profile photo. Okay. But I don't think you can make that sort of money
We're getting into that
in
business.
capital. Look, what I tell people, like when I was the director of emergency management, like
Yeah.
that, I was working 20-hour days.
Mm-hmm.
Congress doesn't work. I mean, what's our approval rating? 18%?
Yeah.
17%?
Bad.
That's high for you guys
Okay?
right now.
Yeah, they're high. It's at an all-time low.
18%. So this kind of takes me to the story because this is actually a good transition into the story, because the Malaysia minister, he believes work stress makes you gay.
This is what you want to talk about?
Remark in Parliament goes viral.
I got to go. Oh, man. Look at that.
How Nielsen's react. So, by the way, Rob, is this truly a real story? That's what I want to know.
Yes.
Are you serious that this is a real story?
Well, he's the minister.
So he's the Malaysian minister, says that workplace stress can push individuals to become involved in the LGBTQ community. I've heard a lot of different things. I don't know if I've heard anything dumber than this here, by the way. Rob, but just please fact check that he actually said this.
I think
Rob,
he did.
This is factual. I just want to make sure this is not one of these fake stuff that.
No, I think it was by Zulfikar Makan. Is that the name? I'm going to butcher that,
here, guys. I mean, if this is
My
a true
respectful-
story.
What actually reported?
Malaysian religious fair ministers did make
I'm
remarks
trying to
in
pronounce
written
it correctly.
parliamentary reply
Zulkifli
suggesting that a
Hassan.
mix of factors, including work-related stress, social influence, and social experiences, and lack of religious practice, could lead to this. Okay, so this was a reply from a response.
But by the way, if this were factually based during COVID, I would have been the gayest person you had ever met. Okay,
I know
because I didn't sleep for 4 months. Okay,
Oh, man.
I don't know.
So this is hard work makes you gay. Adam, you're safe.
Yeah, so no, this makes
Crickets.
Tom.
Tom,
what do you
4 out
give?
of 10. 4 out of 10. 4 out of 10.
And that's
You're
a
being
good score
friendly.
for Tom
You're
these
being
days.
friendly. Anyways, I was just gonna ask this because I wanted to find out from you if if our
Well, he's safe because Congress. He just said Congress is chilling. They're not.
But to me, if you say something like this, every entrepreneur in the world is gay, according to
for
this
sure.
minister.
Closet
Every
homosexuals.
military veteran, working 80 hours a week, they're
I mean, Trump does like the Village People.
He does.
True. Favorite
It's true.
song.
I don't
And he's
think I
building a
can-
ballroom.
I mean,
I don't think that can be debated that he likes Village People. Musk says SAVE Act requiring ID. Okay, this is a good one for you, Jared. We're going to come to this to you to see if are these diamonds real or not. So Musk says SAVE Act requires ID to vote, must be done, or democracy is dead. Rob, do you have this clip?
I do. This is
Okay.
the tweet, and then I have the clip that the tweet's in reference
So
to.
Glenn Beck tweets, by passing this one act, the GOP will save the Republican and rescue the GOP. If they fail, we all fail. 80% of all Americans want this. You need ID for everything except voting. There is only one reason not to pass this, and we all know what it is. Okay, so that's what he's saying. Elon comes out and says, it must be done or democracy is dead. Rob, if you want to go to the clip of Elon, to this clip.
This is great.
And this is
what
CNN,
the
which is
clip was
phenomenal.
at
Go
Glenn
for it.
Beck.
And then, Jared, I'm going to come to you.
Take a look here. Favorite photo ID to vote. 85% of white people favor it. 82% of Latino. 76% of black Americans favor it. So the bottom line is this. Voter ID is not controversial in this country. A photo ID to vote is not controversial in this country. It is not controversial by party, and it is not controversial by race. The vast majority of Americans agree with Nicki Minaj that, in fact, you should have a photo ID to be able to vote.
So something, not.
Jared, thoughts?
By the way, have you guys voted recently? You go with a photo ID.
Thank-
You show your driver's license, and if you don't have a driver's license, you have a government-issued license. That's how you vote. So you do vote in Florida with a photo ID. And you have to do that in all the other states, as far as I know, that you have to show photo ID. So look, I am all for showing a photo ID to vote. That is not what the SAVE Act is doing. Elon is telling the truth, and he says this will save the republic. He should have said Republican. Okay, what the SAVE Act really is about getting less people to vote. That's what it is. First of all, it would create a dramatic problem for women who have their maiden name on their birth certificate and their married name on their driver's license. Okay, because it doesn't fix that issue. So that's one of the reasons why the SAVE Act doesn't work.
How long is it? Wait a minute. I got to stop you. I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Maiden name to married name?
Yeah, so the thing
You're
is
going
that
with that.
if your photo
Honestly, respectfully, you're going with that? How many decades is that a problem?
No, but if your photo ID doesn't match your birth certificate, you might not be able to get the voter ID card. Okay, so we went to Republicans to say, hey, just fix that issue. Didn't want to fix it. Okay, this is about people who are poor, who work several jobs, and are not going to have the time to go get this new voter ID. This is no different than getting people off of the mail-in voting rolls, which they did in Florida, to make them re-register again. This is about decreasing voter turnout, period. When he says there is only one reason not to pass this, and we all know what it is. Yeah, I know what it is. This is about less voter turnout, getting those lower propensity voters not to vote. There are ways to do this. This is the way they want to do it is just about less voters. That's what it is.
By the way, you said earlier that every state requires an ID to vote. That's just not true.
I just said I don't. I said I know in Florida we do.
No, but that's the problem. You lived in Florida. I lived in L.A., California. Right now, I lived in Texas. We lived in Texas 5 years.
You have a voting card?
Well, no. Rob, pull it up real quick. I think it's I don't know what it is, 10 or 15 states that you can go vote with no ID. And then there are states that you can vote with no photo ID. Zoom in a little bit on the colors so we can explain what the colors are. Yeah, no IDs required are the grays. No photo ID required to vote. And then the blue is photo ID required. Look where you live, Florida. Photo ID required.
I'm all good with photo ID being required.
Oh, you are with that? You're good with that?
Yeah, but photo ID, like your government issued
to
ID.
Get to vote.
Yeah, not a new thing that I have to go do. Like the SAVE Act wants to create a new process. It doesn't say you can use your driver's license. You can use your government issued ID. That's not what the SAVE Act does. It now says that you need to go get your birth certificate, to go get your new voter ID card. You got to go take your passport to go get your new voter ID card. It's not saying you now need your regular driver's license to go vote. You need your regular federal ID that you use to fly to go vote. That's not what the SAVE Act does. It wants to create a completely new ID that you're going to need to vote. And that's why it's voter suppression.
What is global entry? Global entry, if I'm traveling TSA,
I have
don't
that.
I have to get a
I did a background check.
ID, right?
Yeah.
You know what global entry is?
Yeah, of course. That's the fast lane.
Yeah, the fast lane.
That's not global entry is not mandatory, though.
No, it's not mandatory. No, what I'm saying is I know it's not mandatory, but where I'm at, the least, they don't even want photo IDs. So I think what they're trying to do here, my opinion, you can push back, and you're in this world, so you can push back. I think they're going for this, but I think they're willing to settle at photo ID. So I think if they go in the room.
But then put that bill on the floor that you have to use your government-issued ID, your current government-issued ID, or your passport, right? Any federal government-issued ID, you can use that, right? You can use it. When you fly, when to drive, you can use it. They want to create a new voter ID. That's
you have a vote on the floor.
I voted against it.
Why don't? Yeah, then caucus with people and go for the compromise.
They don't want to. They don't want to compromise because that compromise doesn't achieve the objective. The objective is to create a new process that a lot of people won't participate in and will.
Why not though? Why not, Jared?
Listen, there's a lot of people that don't have time to sit here and do a podcast. They're working 3-4 jobs, right? When they took people off those voting rolls for the mail-in,
those guys had time to go get an ID.
Hold on,
if you can go,
they have an ID. Let them use it. Let them use their driver's license.
Yeah, but what is the argument for a voter ID? What is the argument for it?
Their argument?
Their argument.
Their argument is saying you should have an ID to go vote, to prove it's you. Great. Let them use their federally issued ID.
Can illegals get a photo? Can you get if you're an illegal alien, can you get an ID in California? A driver's license?
Well, let me tell you how California works. If you bring your California ID to Texas or Florida, Tom, you'll remember this.
Yep.
When you bring it here, you need to show two form of identification and bills and whatever to get an ID. I don't remember exactly what it was.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what they didn't use, Vinny?
What?
The California ID.
Why?
Do you know this?
No, but why?
So if I came here, they looked at the Texas ID as valid, but they don't look at California ID as valid.
Weird.
That's exactly. Do you remember this, Tom?
That's
or
correct.
No?
And so Texas, you go to get Jared. Maybe you don't know this. Texas, I go to get my driver's license. I get there in 2013. And I go to get my driver's license in Texas. I show my California license, and they're like, no, I need a power bill to validate your address or something, or a lease or anything that you've got here. And utility would be great because it's with the city to validate your address. But you need do you have a birth certificate or a passport? I says, why? Because the California driver's license is on our excluded ID list to get a driver's license in Texas. I said, why is that? Because the California driver's license has been corrupted because they allow people who are not citizens to get it. So there's not a proof of citizenship on that because of recent things they've done. So it's off our list. Sorry to inconvenience you. You can go to the head of the line if you come back and bring your form with the passport. So I went home, I got my passport, and got back in line. That's how I got my Texas in. So this is what Texas is doing. in terms of, because they knew what California had done to its own driver's license by compromising it, by allowing, illegal aliens to actually get California driver's licenses through loopholes.
First of all, the entire country just changed to that new sort of federal ID for your driver's license, right? So the whole country moved over to that, the real ID. So the whole country moved over to that, number one. Number two is we let people fly with that California driver's license that you're talking about. So it's obviously good enough for TSA because we let people fly with it. Third, guys, there's no evidence, none, zero, that has ever been presented that there are mass undocumented people voting and changing the elections. Trump litigated his election in 2020 in front of 70 different judges, in front of all these jurisdictions. They presented stuff. There was no evidence that this took place.
So let me ask you a question. Why for Biden's administration for 4 years was the border completely wide open?
Totally different issue, and it shouldn't have been.
Oh yeah, I understand, and I know that you agree with me on that. But
no voter ID and new voters in the right places.
Yeah, but here's the thing. Give me, I'm just saying in general, as the Democratic Party, because it's not like they cared about these illegals. They don't give two craps about it, Jeff. If we're going to be honest, they don't give a damn about the kids. They don't give a damn about these people that are coming over. Almost 15 to 20 million people here. Give me the argument for why they let, the Biden administration, let them come in here. Is it for the census numbers that count towards redistricting for people and people sitting in Congress? Because their fight right now, the biggest fight that's happening in the country right now is the left seems like they care more about illegals than they care about Americans. Giving them housing, getting them in there, protesting in the streets. Nobody's protesting about anything else. All the problems that we have in this country, they are fighting for people that do not belong here. And there has to be an explanation. There has to be a simple, because it's not that they care. Democrats, nobody gives a damn about these people. Trump is fixing, he's trying to fix the problem that the Biden administration did. It's like somebody coming into your house, pooping on the floor, and then you're getting mad at me for picking up the poop. What are you doing? I'm cleaning up the mess that they made. So the argument comes to they can't vote. Go to California, you can vote. Go to these 16 states. You don't even need a photo ID. My thing is you have to have, I know you agree, identification. The SAVE Act says you have to be a citizen. And for all these married women and whatever,
which is already
get your
the law,
lazy asses and go get a freaking ID. Anybody could do it.
It's already the law that you have to be a citizen to vote. Okay. First of all, Barack Obama deported more people than Donald Trump did in both his terms, in his first term.
100%.
Barack Obama did. Okay? Yep. Tom Homan got an award from Barack Obama.
Yeah. Got the medal.
Okay, got the medal. Barack Obama has still deported more people than Donald Trump is deporting now. So to blame the whole party on this issue is not true. Second of all, this immigration issue has been going on for a long time.
Yes.
This is a 20, 30-year deal. And yeah, election issue is linked up to that. Why? Because the reason why you don't want to give a path to citizenship is if you give them a path to citizenship, guess what they get? They get the ability to vote. And then, yes, Texas could go blue. So they're not going to let that happen. So, by the way, why are they against that? Because they know they can't vote now. They can't vote now. That's why they don't want to give them the path to citizenship. If you give them a path to citizenship, then they do get to vote. So this just proves that they can't vote now. That's why they're against doing it. So, guys, there's no evidence of this. Let people use their regular government-issued ID. We don't need to create an entirely separate new voter ID that a lot of people are just not going to be
What's the likelihood this passes?
Well, I mean, it passed the House, so it's up to the Senate. So the
Senate is 2/3, or Senate has to be?
They need 60 votes because there's the automatic filibuster, and what they're trying to get John Thune to do now is to change the filibuster rules and do what's called a standing filibuster, which is to go back to the old days when you actually had to stand on the floor and filibuster. So Democrats would need someone on the floor constantly talking all the time to stop it. Now, if Thune does that
would be painful.
Yeah, if Thune, well, you'll like all those speeches. If Thune does that, then then obviously we're continuing to change the rules in the Senate. And I will say this: Democrats and Republicans together have changed the rules in the Senate. Remember, Harry Reid got rid of the filibuster for Supreme Court judges, and then Republicans got rid of it for regular district court judges. That has led to the judiciary now being a lot more partisan.
Yep.
If the Senate continues to get rid of the rules, they're just the House. They just become the House.
Yeah.
If it's majority rule in the Senate, it's just the House. And here's what happens. What happens is every 4 years or 6 years, we're going to pass statutes, then we're going to remove statutes. We're going to pass more statutes, then we're going to remove statutes. And in this country, the chaos will get even worse as we've gerrymandered all these districts. General elections don't matter anymore. right? It's all about the primary, running to the left, running to the right, amping up the division. And so, I hope he doesn't change the filibuster rules, because then we just continue.
But Congressman, in the Constitution, Article 1, Section 4 says Congress can at any time make laws to regulate and alter election procedures, especially when it's getting out of hand like this. But still, going back to my initial question, what was the reason for opening the border, for Alejandro Mayorkas sitting in Congress saying the border is secure, Kamala Harris saying the border is secure? So we were invaded by our government.
She eventually found the border.
Yeah, well, she did. Yeah, she's once, I guess. But I'm curious, because I know you're opposed. You don't want. You have a family, Congressman. You have children. God forbid, something ever happened by somebody that does not belong in this country, from a purposeful president and an administration letting these people in. I'm just looking for, because I know a bunch of American people, especially ones that have lost loved ones, family members that have lost daughters that were sexually assaulted, the R word, all that stuff. What was the reason for opening the border? And even when Texas went to put barbed wire, they sued. They went and put up bulldozers and picked up the thing and let them come in. What is the rationale? Well, explain that to me. How did that happen? And how did nobody say anything on the left? They were just like, come on in. That's why people like me question, like, why would you let them in? I'm so curious.
There were people on the left that were talking about the Remain in Mexico policy. There were people on the left talking about, listen, there's a difference between economic asylum versus physical asylum. Look, my family came here escaping the Holocaust. My grandmother was part of the Kinder transport out of Germany. Her family was killed in Auschwitz. My grandfather escaped Poland from the pogroms. His entire family, everybody, aunts, cousins, uncles, everybody was killed. This country let us come in.
100%.
Well, by the way, first they didn't. They turned the ship around.
Yeah.
But eventually they let us come in, escaping persecution.
Yes.
Okay. Look, Latin America ain't a,
of course. Yeah, it's not a great place,
and
obviously.
not a so there's a lot of people that want to come here for opportunity. Now, the question is did we provide a magnet? Because that's when we hear about immigration, you can hear about this magnet that you can turn on that attracts versus flipping the magnet around and repelling. Okay. We clearly turned the magnet on, and too many people came in. Hold on, we didn't bust them here. They came because
because the president and them said, "Come in. We're not Trump. Come in here."
They came because they're escaping their conditions. Now, whether we should have let them seek asylum in the country versus remaining in Mexico while they seek asylum, that's the policy I agree with, which is let these people seek asylum. But we shouldn't have necessarily let them all in to seek asylum.
But Congressman, 20, let's say 15 million people, and I get it. Just so, but his family, him included, my mother, my grandmother, they all came here from the Middle East to escape that, and I get it. But they came through a process. And what I'm saying is, what about the millions? I think Thomas Homan said what?
Unfair to them. Unfair.
Unfair. But here's ready for this. 2 million gotaways, meaning we have no idea who they are. We don't know where they are. We just heard another story about a Chinese biolab that has freaking all these pathogens in it, and then 300,000 missing children. And we're sitting here talking about Epstein and all these kids and all that. It's unbelievable the amount of damage that they did. And you talk about these Democrats, Congressman, with all I didn't hear one Democrat stand up during the Biden administration and say, guys, shut the border. What are we doing? Alejandro Mayorkas, you're full of crap.
All right, let me say one more thing about this. So the president's immigration policy in August had a 59% approval rating. Today it has a 39%.
And why do you think that is? Because the media is saying that he's Hitler and he's a Nazi?
Hold up. First of all, nobody's Hitler other than a Hitler. That's always the rule. There's nobody. The rule you live by is Hitler is Hitler. Compare nobody to Hitler.
One of one.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, the left doesn't see it like that.
But here's the thing. Okay. The American people voted to go after gang members and criminals. He told us that's what they were going to do.
Yes.
And they voted for that, no doubt.
Illegals.
Hold on. He said criminals, gang members, these people who escaped the insane
illegals are criminals.
No,
if you're illegal,
hold on. I'm not debating that.
Right.
That's not what he told the American people. He didn't tell the American people we're going.
Rob, can you pull up his Trump 47-20 promises? I don't know if he did or not. Maybe you're right. We'll read it right now.
What the American people are watching, what they're watching live on TV, and that's how Trump lives his world. That's not what's happening. Okay, that's not what's happening. The mission went way beyond what the American people were told and anticipated. We're going into factories, for Hyundai and getting rid of their workers. We're getting rid of people that are working in our fields.
There it is. So Trump's number one promise.
Seal the border.
Was seal the border and stop the migrant invasion. He didn't say criminals. He didn't say any of that stuff.
Hold on, but that's a different issue. Sealing the border and stopping coming in is different than what do you do with the people here.
But look at number two. Jared, carry out the largest deportation operation.
He's failing.
But that's his promise, though.
But he's failing.
You're saying that, but to me, let me ask you a question. Okay, so here's a question for you. What is harder to get?
That?
Is it harder to get a photo ID? Is it harder to get the Save Act voter ID, or is it harder to get a green card?
It's harder to get a green card.
Okay, so it's harder to get a green card.
Yeah, 100%.
So the people that you're saying have a hard time because they're so busy and they're not going to do anything illegal. If they have
that's different. I'm talking about citizens right here.
But here, I totally get it. But somebody who's here that is a citizen or even's got a green card. People with a green card can vote. If you got a green card, I joined the military with just a green card, and I wasn't a U.S. citizen. Just so you know that I joined the Army with a green card. So even if somebody can get a green card, and green card's harder to get, why can't they get people to get the voter ID?
Mm-hmm.
What would be the difficulty of that? You're saying the people that have 3 jobs, I'm running 9 companies. I'm working.
But we don't need. But take Florida. We don't need new voter ID. We have.
But that's not Florida. That's not Florida. So to you, you've lived in a state that you don't have this issue, Congressman.
No, but
respectfully, you guys don't deal with that here.
I'm saying take what Florida's doing. People are allowed to use their driver's license. Okay, they're allowed to use their federally issued.
The difference is this. Here's the difference, and I'm loving this exchange because we're going through leaks that every one of us is trying to find, especially for myself. This is your world. I can't, if I'm running the country, tell California what to do with the photo ID law of that state.
Yep.
The only thing I can do is to say, oh, you don't want to require an ID to vote, photo ID? No problem. Guess what? I can't, as the president, tell you to get a photo ID, but guess what we're going to do for the country? Everybody needs a voter ID. You want to screw on with me and kind of do this stuff in a complete different way?
But where's the evidence that that's happening?
Gavin Newsom signed the Senate Bill 1174 that said no. They got people in trouble for showing their ID.
But there's no evidence.
But there's the part.
That let's just say tens of thousands. Okay, first of all, California's.
Then you have nothing to worry about.
Yeah, exactly.
Then you have nothing to worry about.
Yeah, of course I do.
If there's no evidence, you have nothing to worry about.
Of course I do, because now you're going to make working class people who vote Democrat go get a brand new separate ID. Yeah.
So what?
So that's going to decrease turnout.
If you're saying there's no proof that are people doing this, then there's nothing to worry about. Let's just kind of move forward and make it honest and get states that don't want to allow people to have IDs. This is a very, very clear issue for me. It's not a complicated issue for me. If you have the time to go cross the border legally or illegally, get your green card, get your ID, get a job, take your kids to school, get a TSA period, get all this stuff, you have the time to go get a voter ID.
That's not who the SAVE Act is going to target. The SAVE Act is going to eventually affect lower income working class people who are not going to go do this separate process to vote.
Why is it going to target that?
I mean, we could talk 12 hours about why people
but tell
in the
me
lower
in 60 seconds.
Because they're so busy trying to just survive in this country that every barrier you put in front of people. Why did the poll tax stop people from voting? Every barrier you put stops people from voting.
But by the way, what if he does this? What if he does this? Okay, great. Hey, if you're watching, here's an idea for you. To all the people you're so worried about, I have a very simple proposition to Republicans. Guess what? The U.S. government will pay for 1-day vacation for you to go get your voter ID because you are so busy. So let's do the math. Yeah. If you do the math, you got how many working people? Those that don't have a problem with it, let's target the people that are the low income. What percentage, Rob, can you pull up a percentage of what percentage of people would be considered low? What's the way we want to categorize?
Minimum
low
wage?
income. What percentage would you put low income adults in America? Voters. Low income adults.
I mean,
American. What is the number?
10%, 10.6%.
So what is that? 35.9 million?
Below poverty.
Perfect. Below poverty. Take their average salary, say 32,000. Let's just make it 50,000. Take 50,000 divided by 200 days. 50,000 divided by 200 days is what? $250. $250 times 35.9 million is what, Rob? Can you do the math, please? $250 times. We're going to do some math with this congressman here. We're going to figure this out together. We're not even in office.
It's like the movie Dave.
So $250 times $35.9 million makes it $8.9 billion. Guess what? We paid $8.9 billion to dumber things. Let's pay $8.9 billion for people to get one full day Paid work day. Because we're so concerned because they're busy, go get it done. If we pay them, would you be open to it?
By the way, if you give people a holiday to go get their voter ID and you give them a holiday to go vote, I'm all for it.
Perfect.
Now, by the way, hold on. My Republican colleagues have been against that for decades.
Wow.
Oh, no. We were just on an
Because if you give people a holiday, it increases voter turnout.
They don't want to work too hard because they don't want to become gay.
Increases voter turnout.
Jared, I got to add a clarifying point.
Clarifying point.
You correctly...
I'm now reading the small text below.
No.
We have a deal, but let me here's the small text. Tom, you're overselling.
I thought you were against filibusters. Stop.
There.
So, 38% of Americans right now approve of the way the ICE and the policy is being executed. That is what
Shooting
you said.
Americans
Hang
in
on,
the
hang on.
face is not
hang
unpopular.
on. Hang on.
That's a whole different debate.
67% of Americans this day, according to a Harris poll, and Rasmussen, so there's a poll in there for everybody,
Love polls.
say they agree with the president's policy.
Strongly.
So you can't...
That's even a worse indictment. Hold on, think about what you just
No,
said.
no,
Hold on.
67%
They voted for a
of-
policy that they're not seeing, and the execution of it. That's why the president said the other day he thinks his public.
But what you
his
said,
public relations
but what
is
you
bad.
said, hang on, Jared. What you said a minute ago, I just want to make sure it's clear because there's two different things here. There's the policy they agreed with that they voted for that they still support to this day. And this is of all voters, the 67%. On the Republican side, it's like 88%. So that's the blend. But 38%
That's why he should
say-
fire. By the way, that's why he should fire Noam. She's been a total disaster.
No, I wasn't opening the door for that.
Oh,
we
well,
can debate
let me-
all these
let me
things
open
another
it for you.
Jared, we like you. This has been going well.
By the way, what happened to Trump? Hold on.
But you see
What
the
happened to
point?
Trump? Trump made tens of millions of dollars firing people weekly on television. People tuned in. It was much CTV.
Okay, see, this is
Eric
what
on-
happens when a
Eric on
politician
one
doesn't
side,
like numbers.
Hold on.
Here
Eric
come
on
the
one side,
meteors from all
Junior on
Mars.
the left. You're fired. People loved it. He was popular. And now he's like firing people's weakness. That's weakness.
Well,
Can I
you've already spoken, but
Well,
you trying to be me right now?
One small point.
Oh, my
Can you
God.
at least admit, Congressman, that the look of what's happening is it's two-tiered. Number one.
We just figured it out.
Well, number one, when you have the media who all despise him, from CNN to MSNBC, they're making the coverage, and the way that they're reporting it is absolutely abysmal. Number one. Number two, when you have the sitting governor, the sitting mayor, Ilhan Omar saying, and by the way, I take complete offense. I'm not Jewish, Congressman. When people say Hitler and Hitler, that's one of the worst thing that you can do. They've been calling freaking Trump and all this Gestapo. I think it's absolutely disgusting, especially when people have had family members lost under German rule. I think it's disgusting. When you have those people...
By the way, Joe Rogan called them the Gestapo.
Yeah, well, hold up. Wait, we talked about that. But here's the thing, Congressman. If you have the leadership of the state saying, Hitler, Gestapo, get in their face, do this, and then you have nurses going up to people with a gun on them, interfering with federal law enforcement. I know you know it's illegal. That is a problem, okay? Because at the end of the day, New York Times reported this, and their minds were boggled. They didn't know where this came from. Murder is down 20%. Overdoses of drugs, heroin, fentanyl, everything is down all-time low. They don't even know how to respond to it. Could that be because he's kicking all these people out? And I understand. With a mass immigration deportation, there's going to be people here. Okay, we got this person wrong. We got this. That's going to happen. But the media is making him look like he's a freaking maniac, which Obama's the number one guy. He's trying to catch Obama because he wants to be number one. And the fact that the governor, Tim Walz, he's still saying it. He's Hitler. He's Nazi. Don't listen to them and get in their faces.
Go ahead. Sorry.
I'll give you the final thoughts and then we'll wrap up. Go ahead. You can respond to that.
What I was going to say is you guys have the guy who did this deportation in Tom Homan. You have the guy, right? And what we didn't see masked men in the streets.
But there was nobody recorded it.
I know, but
nobody
that's
was
unfair.
recording
The only
it.
thing I would say is, I understand that argument. The difference is when I'm calling from the White House and the president is a Democrat and I'm asking Minneapolis to cooperate and you're a Democrat, they do.
Bingo.
When and Tom Homan's there, Tom Homan, he's my guy. My name is Barack Obama. Great, I'll take care of him and I'll give you what you want. Under Trump, when they call and these blue cities don't want to cooperate, whatever you want to call a sanctuary city, whatever reason, to make the president look bad, they're not working together as a team. So it makes it harder for ICE to do its job because there's a lack of cooperation. And I understand why they do that. It's politics. They need the exposure. They need the new, things to see. Right now, data came up. You know what the data came up yesterday? MAGA, people that voted for Trump. Do you know what percent of them, N10 just did a new one, Rob. I don't know if you saw this from yesterday. I wasn't even going to show this. But they showed that MAGA, right now, people that voted for Trump, is that it, Rob?
Yes, sir.
It just went even higher. This is yesterday.
This is yesterday?
Play the clip, Rob.
The movement, again, that's what we're talking about. Make America Great Again movement. And it is as powerful as it has ever been. Because I want you to take a look here.
Watch
GOP
this.
who view MAGA favorably. 2 years ago, when Donald Trump was running for term number 2, it was 74%. Today, look at this. It's 78% of Republicans
People who
view
voted for him
the Make
support what he's
America
doing.
Great Again movement favorably. So we're talking about something that, in my opinion, will very much be able to outlast Donald Trump. Trump is in term number 2. He can't run for a term number 3. But the bottom line is this. What he brought into the GOP looks like it's going to last long.
10:40. It's 11:40. By the way, Jared, we've enjoyed it. It was actually a lot of fun. And we're going to invite you more. Are you around here?
I live in
or-
Parkland.
Okay, fantastic. This was great. This was great. No, we like this. We like the banter. We like the exchange. As long as you're respectful and you're respectful, we enjoyed having you on. Rob, can you do me a favor? Is Mateo here? Can we bring Mateo? Where's Mateo at? Can you check with Mateo if the truck is ready or no? Is he here? Mateo, can you bring where are you at? Come on down. Come on down. Okay.
Come on down to
So,
Chinatown.
not only is MAGA went from 74 to 78%, but somebody's approval rating went from 45 to 46%, and that 46% is officially Adam's new age. Happy birthday, Adam. If you want to bring it up, we can sing for you on 3. 1, 2, 3. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you.
Thank you, Lisa.
Happy birthday, dear Adam.
It's amazing when your age actually equals your IQ, man.
Thank you, guys.
There you go, buddy.
I don't appreciate this bad PR saying I'm 46. I'm 40-ish, PBD. I'm still 40, but thank you. I saw you give me a shout out on Wednesday, and I'm trying to make everybody proud and be pragmatic. And thank you for coming on today. Thank you for having me be a part of this. Respect to PBD, and to all the haters out there, I still love you. And to all the people that love me,
Adam,
I love
good
you more.
wish. Got to blow it out with a good wish. Come on.
I'm wishing for one thing. We know what it is.
Mazel tov.
There you
Thank
go.
you. We appreciate you,
Happy
PBD.
birthday. Rob, pull up his Manect. Folks, if you want to wish Adam a happy birthday or send a bunch of messages of you not being happy with him, there's the QR code. Wish him a happy birthday on Manect. With that being said, gang, we will do it again next week. God bless everybody. Have a great weekend. Take care. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. We went